Try that again.
5 out of 7 stars.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Pizza and Pixels. It's the show where myself and JP order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up, and JP just smacked the hell out of the mic.
We're all good.
Smooth move, X.
I'm one of your hosts, Josh, a.k.a. HexxedPhenom, and I am joined by the abstract rocker, JP. And we've got Tyler here with us, of course. You guys know him from
You guys know who this guy
the
is.
WWE 2K18, 19, 20 series on the channel.
So is this like up, up, down, down? We each have our own nicknames on here?
Yo, we could do that. I got a trademark, but we could do nicknames too. That works.
Okay,
Trademarks and nicknames, so that works too.
Alright, if we're doing this, I will choose the King in the North.
I thought you were going to go with the Dark Knight.
I actually was going to, but I'm like, no, I gotta switch it up. I am the King in the North.
This is HexxedPhenom. I'm the abstract rocker, and this is the King of the North.
Does that count as my nickname, though?
You can get trademarked if you want. That depends how far you want to go with legality, but that could be a nickname.
I mean, we all know you're Josh, so you might as well go with HexxedPhenom.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's your.
But then then I'm just HexxedPhenom. I don't have a cool nickname.
It's your professional.
Well, we'll pick another nickname.
Yeah.
I'm.
You're Ambrose. Ambrose, might as well, because I call you Ambrose all the time.
This is HexxedPhenom.
But he doesn't even go by that anymore, so it doesn't make sense.
This is the Irish hand grenade.
Now's your chance to take the name.
I don't know.
This is the professional Russian.
Oh no, that's not a good one.
That's old school.
That's old school though. You still have that shirt?
Somewhere. I don't know where.
I am the pancake.
Right now, but
I am the pancake. Okay, so we got our name, the King of the North.
the abstract rocker, and I'll come up with mine eventually.
Just shows we pull legal paperwork out here.
You have until the end of this podcast to think of a name.
Oh god, that's not.
And if you guys have any names for Josh,
leave them down in the comments.
Leave them down in the comments.
Leave them down in the comments.
The King of the North.
I'm sure they'll only be mildly offensive. So that's good.
I hope Anthony doesn't
But today, we're going to be counting down each of our individual top 10 games of the decade.
And what a decade it was. Let me just throw
What a decade it's been. We've seen
the decade of decadence.
We've seen the tail end of a console generation and just about an entire life cycle of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One.
I feel like in the past decade we've lived longer. Like in my mind, the advances we made in the past decade, you would think it stretches farther than a decade.
You're not wrong.
We made a lot of damn progress. So.
But yeah, just to get it going here, the rules are that we are doing one game per franchise, and it is any game is eligible as long as it was released on some platform on between January 1st, 2010, and until the end of this year. So we're recording this. What's today? December 6th. If anything comes out this month that somehow makes it on this list, we'll update you or something, but pretty much all the big games are out now. I think the last big game release of the year is Jedi Fallen Order.
My homebrew.
I haven't played yet, but...
Homebrew games. No, I'm just kidding.
But, yeah.
Oh. I guess to get started, I guess we'll do the honorable mentions. You want to just throw that out there, I guess?
So, I'll just throw my 3 honorable mentions out of the way.
Then we'll get into the real piece of the pie.
Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy. I don't know if you would count that as one game or 3, but...
it all came together.
So it all came together.
And then Spyro Reignited Trilogy. And then I have Assassin's Creed. I couldn't decide between either Brotherhood or Odyssey. I think Odyssey is probably a better game, but I have nostalgia for Brotherhood. But, yeah. So those are my honorable mentions. Yeah.
And
Tyler, what about you?
Let me just say, the thing that really sucked about making this list, whether it be the numbered ones or the honorable mentions, you have so many games you want to choose, but you can't pick them all.
There's so many games, it was hard. I had to...
Like a good example is, I love God of War 3, but I did not put it on the list as much as I wanted to. Like, that's a good example. But my honorable mentions are Dead Island, Dying Light, and Tales from the Borderlands.
Dying Light was so fucking good.
And honestly, for me, I would just go with what he was saying with Spyro and Crash Remastered. If I had to throw a third one out there, I would probably just do like a Guitar Hero game or something, but I didn't really think about the honorable mentions. But yeah, definitely Spyro and Crash. That had to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Had to definitely be mentioned.
I was going to say Guitar Hero Metallica, but that was 2009.
That was 2009. Yeah, and then Warriors of Rock. Great set, but... Oh, man. The demons. The Demon King.
Fuck off, Pinball.
At that rate, you could have damn well came out in that game.
Before we move on further, just, of course, understand, guys, that, we all have different
opinions
tastes and opinions than you guys.
No one's being judged.
We would love to hear your top 10 games of the decade down in the comments below.
And as I was saying before, like, mine are all numbered, but I'm just gonna say my top 2 games are gonna be actually numbered. But as far as 3 and 10 go, even though they're listed on here, it's just going to be whatever order. It's just what I wrote them down, what I switched around. But the top 2, those are going to be the ones that I focus on as my actual top 2.
I'd say we can get it done. Get her done.
So, I guess I'll start things off here. I already know Tyler's not going to like this one.
We're starting 10, right?
Starting at 10, my number 10 is, I had to throw it on there. I'm such a fanboy of this franchise, Call of Duty. And I went with Call of Duty Black Ops 2 because I think it was the last amazing Call of Duty game.
Honestly,
I think World War II came close. I think Black Ops 3 came close a little bit.
I love World War II.
But to me, Black Ops 2 was the last amazing Call of Duty game, in my opinion.
Spoiler,
From the
I
campaign to the zombies to the multiplayer, it is
exactly.
For me, it's the fullest experience I've had of a Call of Duty game. I thoroughly enjoyed all 3 modes. I played the shit out of all 3 modes. I went to Master Prestige, got diamond camo on every gun like 3 different times on that game.
Ironically,
I played the shit out of zombies.
We met around that time too.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of memories. I wish the transit story was a little better, but yeah, I feel you. I do have a Call of Duty game on mine as well. That's just a spoiler, but yeah, I do. Good times.
But so yeah, to me, Black Ops 2, like I said, it's the fullest Call of Duty experience I've had. It was the first one where I was like, hey, midnight release, I'm getting the game, taking off school the next day, playing zombies and multiplayer all night, and then, getting all the DLC packs right when they were coming out, and
yep.
The feeling of playing it. Well, I mean, for me, I couldn't play on release day because my internet was fucking shit. I remember how much the plan was for all of us to download and play Buried as soon as it came out, I remember, and my internet was just fucking garbage, and I couldn't do it. But
I just remembered a random story, me and Anthony playing Mob of the Dead, and it was funny because we came off the gondola, and a zombie danced on my head. There you go, no! And
I think I was in that game with you guys, actually.
And a zombie tap danced on my head. Yep, jumped off the roof and landed right on my head and killed me without even touching me.
The Black Ops 2 is also the first game where I always had some sort of party, whether it be in multiplayer or in zombies or whatever.
Wasn't that the game where we would just go in and wreck lobbies left and right with Brandon and everybody?
Yep. It would always be me, you, Brandon, and sometimes Isaac and Junior would come in, and Brandon and his whole crew would be there a lot of the time.
When I say we would destroy lobbies, we would eat them for lunch. It was just...
Those were the days.
Wow, damn, now I'm just...
But yeah, Black Ops 2, I'd say it's my favorite Call of Duty ever, maybe, but definitely of the ones released this decade, it is my favorite, and it's my number 10.
Hell yeah. And, for me, number 10... it influences it because I'm actually playing it right now and actually getting a full-on completion run of it, going for that plat, and that is NASCAR Heat 3. There's a good reason why I put this at number 10. I'm not sure if any of you guys are fully into the NASCAR series or if you guys are, but NASCAR Heat 3 I'd like to say is probably the best NASCAR game since, I'd like to say, at least NASCAR 09, so you're looking at about 10 years. They improved a lot. You hit next gen. You got full on into the console gen with it, and the predecessor that came after was absolute garbage because it was a copy paste. So for me, it just brings back the nostalgic memories of playing through the classic games, and I don't know. It just really feels like a whole complete package for the generation, and I enjoy very, very much. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make it number 10 because I realistically didn't know what to put at number 10. I was very, very undecided, and that nostalgia just kicked me in the ass. So
yeah, I definitely had a hard time putting this list together.
Yeah, everything was smooth sailing for me for the most part, but number 10, oh man, I was playing so many games.
There was so many games that I wanted to mention, but I obviously didn't want to have 30 honorable mentions, so that kind of defeats the purpose of everything.
Yeah, because it's just, oh man.
For me, it's I wanted to put a bunch of Battlefield games on there. I wanted to put some of the Call of Duty games on there, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Battlefield 1 at number 10, but I enjoyed the NASCAR game more than Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is a great game. It's just, like I said, it was hard to compile it, and I'm currently playing through NASCAR, so that probably tugged my heartstrings. So.
Yeah.
That's my number 10. What about you, boy? King of the North. Here we go.
So my number 10, it's very weird because this is the only game in this franchise that I've actually played. So maybe some people would be like confused by that or be like, wait, why would you only play that? But this was a game that Gerber actually introduced me to.
Dr. Good Vibes.
I played the demo of it, and from what I can remember, it was a pretty long demo. But I was having so much fun with the demo. This was before I had my license. I'm like, Gerber, can you please take me to Walmart so I can buy the actual game? And he instantly jumped up and grabbed his keys like, let's go, because he was so excited for me. This game
That's great.
is Mass Effect 2.
Damn. Okay, I'm not surprised with Gerber. Okay. That's
So,
cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a good
I remember him
Yeah.
mentioning something to me of you falling in love with this game.
yeah, because
Nice.
what was it? Because he was telling me all about this game, because you know how Gerber is. He loves like all the sci-fi and
Oh,
space stuff.
Oh
and
my
he
god,
was,
yeah, he's all about that.
He was
Yeah.
telling me all about it,
That
and
legend.
like obviously this game came out before the movies did, but looking back, if I were to go play it, it's like I'm kind of playing like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And what was it? Yeah, he was just telling me all about like all these crazy missions that you can do into it, all like the alien teammates you can make and whatnot. I'm like, all right, this sounds interesting. Downloaded the demo, and I'm like 15 minutes into the demo, and I'm like, I want to get the full game all like right now.
You're just like, I need
And
it.
That game was so much fun. Like, I do eventually want to go back to the first game. I know the third game kind of had some controversy with it.
Yeah. The ending mostly.
But they did make a fourth one. What was it called?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Andromeda. I know apparently that wasn't that good, I think.
I think, as far as I can tell, most of the problems with that game were like glitches and performance-wise. I don't really know if it had much to do with like gameplay and story as much, but
I mean, I don't know if you guys played Mass Effect 2, but
I haven't played any of the games.
Well,
unfortunately.
I've experienced it from Gerber's firsthand. That was it.
well, all like
Mr. Good Vibes.
Well, like all the missions were fun and whatnot, but the last mission when you and your entire team are on that huge epic battle, you got to go through everything. You're trying to keep everybody alive. Like, I swear I felt like I was playing a movie.
Yeah.
Like I was playing a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which again I know was before the movies, but still.
This gets me pumped to play the Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Oh, you will love it. You will love
I
it.
still have yet to play. I know I'm gonna love it.
That's another thing. Like all the Telltale games, I wanted to put on as honorable mentions, but I couldn't. But
Yeah, there's just so many good games.
you are gonna love that game. I will tell you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Mass Effect.
ready.
Mass Effect
I'm
2,
ready.
from what I can tell, is mostly like the favorite of the franchise.
Yeah, Mass Effect
So-
2 is hailed as like the king of that series. in my
So,
opinion.
ironically, King of the North.
The King of the North has said
Has played
the king of the series,
as number 10.
the king
Oh,
of
yeah,
Mass
that-
Effect.
Like, even talking about it right now, I haven't played it in years, and sometimes I'll think about playing it, like, think about that time frame, and I'm like, that was such a good time. I really want to go back to play that game. And, yeah, like, especially that last mission, like I was just saying, like, it's one of those moments in the games where, like, if that was the only part of that game, you would not complain at all.
Yeah.
That's how fun and
That's how fun it
amazing and
was.
crazy it was.
Yeah.
That's badass how that influenced you.
I've always wanted to
the
play the
game,
Mass
get
Effect
actual
games. I never got to, though.
Well, didn't they redo it for current gen at least?
I thought they did
I don't
some
know
remaster.
that. Yeah, I think there might be like a Mass Effect trilogy bundle. I just still never got a chance to get to it.
Like, I do want to be fair and play the first game, and third I'm kind of iffy about, just
Yeah.
from what I heard, but it's like, you at least got to play it yourself once.
Yeah, I heard the third was. Oh man.
I heard the game itself was good, it's just the ending was what ruined it.
The endings, absolutely, yeah. Gerber was telling me about that.
So, I guess, are we going to, like, round off what our picks were in the round, or?
Oh, hey, hey, number 10, he has Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I have NASCAR Heat 3, and the King of the North has Mass Effect 2.
Such a great game.
All right, so on to number 9.
Alright.
This one is very near and dear to my heart. It is everyone's favorite marsupial, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. And I didn't.
So good.
I wasn't sure how I felt about putting remakes on this list, but to me, Nitro Fueled is different enough to be its own game. As much as it is a remaster of Crash Team Racing, but it also added in so many new characters, so many new tracks, everything from Nitro Kart, hence the name Nitro Fueled.
And we were just talking about on the last episode we recorded that this game, you could tell when they did this remaster. You could tell they wanted to do a lot more with it. And honestly, it's to the point where it is literally the best of what we had, and now the best of what we can have. And you could tell that there is definitely a game plan in the future with this series.
Yeah, not only is it, one of my top 10 games of the decade, I think it's one of my top 10 games of all time, and it's definitely my favorite kart racer of all time. Like, to me, none of the Mario Kart games stand a chance. As much as Mario Kart is definitely a more casual game, and it's definitely easier to pick up and figure it out, Crash Team Racing definitely does have a much higher skill gap and a much higher skill ceiling.
It's the real deal.
But that is what makes it so fun to me, is the fact that you need to learn the drifting mechanic. You need to figure that out, and if you don't, you're going to get eaten alive, especially online.
I remember...
At Oxide, he will get eaten alive, guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Anthony that I faced during the live stream?
I think so, yeah. I think it was you and Anthony.
Because I remember us both sitting there like, wait, what's the... didn't we... I think we had to, do, 2 practice runs, didn't we?
Yeah, because...
Just to get the feel.
Drifting mechanic... I mean, that was just, the driving. You guys didn't really do much drifting.
I think
the drifting
is where the skill really comes.
For those that don't know, it's... You drive with the X button, and then... To drift, you'll turn, and you have to press either hold L1 or R1 to start the drift, and then... You'll see a meter fill up in the bottom, and once it hits a certain part of the meter, you'll hit the opposite shoulder button and you'll get a boost. And you can do that up to 3 times per drift. And the closer you hit it to the top of the thing, the bigger speed boost you get.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you want to keep chaining them together. So you want to go drift, boost, jump, drift, boost, constantly, even in straightaways and everything.
The best part and the easiest way to get a feel for it too is, if you look at your tires, you're going to see 2 lines go across it that are just flames because you're doing your drift.
Yeah.
And as soon as they lock, it's the perfect time. For anyone trying to get used to it, it's usually about a second per drift.
Yeah,
and you get you get a very good one, and if you really nail it, you're flying.
But yeah, I love the quality of life things that they did, because like you said, the nitro tires, I think they're called something like that, nitro wheels, whatever they call it in the game.
I think
that's a new feature.
The nitro feature. Yep.
So many new tracks. They've had 5. We're about to go into the 6th season of free DLC updates.
And there's no end in sight to the Grand Prix.
Yeah, apparently they have Grand
crazy.
Prix planned for every month until this coming June, I guess. So a year after the game's release.
So pumped.
And I love the game. I love Crash. I'm a Crash fanboy. Even more so than I am for Call of Duty. I've played every Crash game, no matter how bad they were. I always played them just because I was like, it's more Crash. I gotta play it. I gotta support my boy.
You know it's the real deal when you're in there thick and thin, especially.
Yeah, I played through Mind Over Mutant. I played through Crash of the Titans.
God bless you.
I played through all the shitty DS games and Game Boy games and.
Oh man.
All of it. I played through them all.
that later series that they had when they killed it, just like Spyro with Skylander. Ooh, God, wow.
Yeah.
You even played the mini Crash game in Uncharted 4.
I did.
Yo, they fully recreated that in one whole render just for that game. That was a pretty cool thing. I'm not in the Uncharted 2 too much, but that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. I remember reading about the fact that they didn't. It's not like you were just playing an emulation of the game. They completely had to recreate that in Uncharted's engine.
I was like, nice. It's perfect.
That was cool. But yeah, number 9, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Absolute amazing game.
Yo. That is solid, and I'm gonna move on to another solid for my 9. And I wanted to make sure I didn't put this too high up because there's a lot more epic things on my list, but this game had to get recognition, and that is Rock Band 4. Rock Band 4 defeated Guitar Hero and put it to rest for the 2nd time, which I never thought that would happen. And the thing was, going into this next gen, it was like, should we keep it all the same, which is what people wanted, or did you want to do some crazy new shit that probably wouldn't work? And long story short, Guitar Hero tried Guitar Hero Live, and that was an absolute colossal disaster. And Rock Band stayed true to the roots and gave you all your DLC from last gen. You just had to re-download it, and then they had all new stuff, firing on all cylinders. For being independent, man, they really made a niche with this game, and I think they're going to keep supporting it probably till they eventually do Rock Band 5.
See, the thing with Rock Band 4, that as much as I feel like they tried to revive the rhythm genre, and it's still mostly dead. I mean, Rock Band 4, I'm sure, did sell pretty well. Probably not to the magnitude of 3.
Yeah, 3
or any of the other ones, but
for being independent, though, man, they
for,
were great.
For what they did compared to Guitar Hero, Guitar Hero tried to completely change the formula, which isn't what people wanted. They wanted more Guitar Hero. They wanted more Rock Band.
Yep.
And so with Guitar Hero going to a new controller, they had to pay
a new
out the ass for new developer, this whole new way of playing the guitar.
And like
it just didn't work out. And it had, what, like 40 songs plus the GHTV thing, which they shut down now.
Yeah, and basically it's at the point now where they are refunding you for buying their shitty game. That is pretty pathetic. But if you want to play Guitar Hero, I should say, Guitar Hero Live, they do have a bundle you could probably get for like $60 with 2 guitars.
Yeah, it's probably pretty cheap now.
It's so cheap for that bundle, but yeah, Rock Band came swinging, and they added a lot of new mechanics to the game, and you know, over time they promised they would add. It's just, you know, they're independent, so it's kind of hard to have backing without MTV and all. So
the game's like 3-4 years old, and they're still adding new songs. They're still adding new modes, new rivals, challenges, and stuff.
Challenges, yeah, and the thing is, they're gonna keep doing that till PS5, and chances are they're gonna make the 5th installment at that point. But it's kind of cool, man. It literally lasted a whole generation of a console, essentially. So holds a special place in my heart. So. Rock Band 4, my number 9.
All right, Tyler, King of the North, hit me with something. Okay, hit me with a good one.
Hit me with something.
A good one. So, I never played the original games in this series, this franchise.
I don't even know what. I don't even know.
I was gonna say you probably didn't either.
No, probably not.
But they rebooted this series in 2013, so this was like my chance to be like, okay, I can get into it now. I've played the past few games that they came out with. They were all good, but this one was without a doubt the best one. It is the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider.
Nice. I agree with that.
You know, I got
not on my list, but I agree with that.
Yeah,
that was an amazing game.
I love the original series. I never got fully hands on with the Resurrection reboot, but I heard it was pretty good. I heard it was like Uncharted meets Lara Croft. Is that true?
Well, technically, if you really want to get technical, Uncharted would basically be the male version of Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay.
They basically inspired each other.
So they inspired each other.
Because like cool. Uncharted was pretty much inspired from the original Tomb Raider games, and then the new Tomb Raider was inspired by Uncharted, which was already inspired by the old Tomb Raiders.
Wow,
the story, like the backstory of Uncharted, was inspired by Tomb Raider, but the way they made Uncharted was how they did with Tomb Raider as well. So they basically played off each other.
Yeah.
If that's the right way to phrase it, I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that Tomb Raider reboot was good. And the sequel, not so much from what I heard, but the reboot was great from what I heard.
Tomb Raider,
Rise of the Tomb Raider,
Rise and Shadow. The way I see it is they're all great. Don't get me wrong, but as they've gone, they just got like not bad, but worse as they were prior.
Declined.
They got stale.
Like Tomb Raider, amazing, phenomenal. Rise.
Yeah.
Rise was great, but not as great as the first one. And then Shadow, the recent one, it was good, but at the same time, it's like it's the worst of the 3 so far.
You could tell, yeah. They should probably rethink it. You think there's more games coming, or you think they're gonna set on a track?
Probably. I think Shadow performed well enough to warrant another. Maybe not a whole nother trilogy, but at least another game, a 4th installment somewhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the 2013 Tomb Raider, on the other hand, like, that game was just so smooth, too. And the fighting styles in it, the story behind it, all, like, the cinematic stuff. And what was I going to say? Unfortunately, for me, I was one of the people that... It worked fine for me on PS3, but I was one of the people that when I did the PS4 version, it did the save file corruption problem.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's the only, like, negative thing I have to say about that game is they never fixed that problem. PS3, I was fine. Like, I never had that problem.
I only ever played the PS4 version. So.
Did you have the problem, too?
I think it corrupted for me, but, like, when I first got the game, but I was maybe, like, 30 minutes into the game, so it didn't affect me that badly.
Oh.
But I think it did happen to me.
That's crazy, though, with the save glitch, man.
I also do love the video of Conan when he was playing the game before everybody else did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Clueless
because you
gamer.
you showed me that video, right?
Yeah, he's like perving out over Lara Croft.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, Laura. He was like Vince McMahon when he was playing DDP during the Sarah storyline. Oh,
God.
Laura.
But like, again, like the thing that sucks with these lists is, yeah, you want to put them higher and whatnot, but no, you like this game. Well, no, that game.
Yeah,
blah blah
because
blah.
you know
but,
there's more epic games in your opinion coming. Yeah, that's.
But like I said, as
Yeah,
far as
had to
3 to
mention it.
10 go, like they're just whatever. It's just how I have them written down.
Yeah.
Had to mention it, right?
I had to.
So this next one for me,
We're at number 8
should
right
we,
now.
Should we start ordering the pizza? We're like 25 minutes in.
Yeah.
Just in case. Just in case, we're a precautionary measure. And yeah, I think we're rolling through. I mean, hey, we got 10 and 9 out of the way. That wasn't too bad. Numero ocho.
all right. Well, my number 8 is I don't know if you guys. I don't think either of you have played this game. I could be wrong, but it is one of my favorite 3D platformer games of all time, and I think the best one that isn't a re-release to have come this past decade, and that is Super Mario Galaxy 2. And
Oh, there you go.
this game is really freaking fun. I'm not one for the Mario games usually. Mario Kart I like, but normally the Mario platformer games I'm not too into. But this game was fucking awesome.
I was just say I heard it was pretty awesome. From the video footage I've seen, I was like, wow, this is actually different.
It's basically like
different try.
it's what you kind of remember Mario 64 being like.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say, that's
also
where I really stuck on
the concept of, you know, flying around to these different like mini planets and gravity affecting you differently on different planets and stuff like that. It's just such a cool concept, and I've never really seen any other game do something like that before. Because like there's just like places where you could just be, you know, running around this tiny planet, and you could literally just long jump and just keep flying around the planet if you want to and stuff like that, and like that could, you know, lead you to getting secret stars and stuff like that. And there was just so much content in that game for what it was. There was I think there was like 140 regular stars, and then you could go through and get another 140 green stars, which were like crazy hard to get.
So basically, this was like Super Mario 64 on steroids, and it happened in the
Pretty
galaxy
much,
of
yeah.
Super Mario World. Wow, that's crazy.
And it's
Wow.
so much fun. There was so many cool power-ups that they brought in. Galaxy 2 brought back Yoshi, and there was a bunch of power-ups for Yoshi that you could have. It was an incredibly fun 3D platformer, and definitely, I think, one of the most... I don't know if I'd say influential, because it doesn't seem like anybody's done anything like it since, but just one of the most recognizable and interesting and original 3D platformers that we've gotten to date, let alone in this decade.
Dude, that's dope. Man. Damn. Yeah, because just seeing that game, wow. I was looking at him like, wow. I don't really play these games, but this game looks really...
Dude, I love that game.
So, wow, coming off that one, wow. Damn. Well, I have a nostalgia game that is held near and dear by many sports fans, and I know Tyler's gonna probably mark a bit. You've had some experience with this game, and that game is UFC Undisputed 2010.
Yeah, that was 2009. You did that.
Yeah. Speaking of 2009, what made 2010 such an epic installment, and honestly, I think the last great UFC game in my opinion, but 2009 was just a banger. But it was missing some stuff without, you know, outdated like sponsors and all that stuff and characters. But 2010, man, they just came back and they filled all the issues that were with the last one. They expanded this whole thing, and it was just an iconic game. And we have so many damn memories on that game. And
Stop the madness! Stop the madness!
Stop the madness! And it was just awesome. They refined all the mechanics, and they made it more in depth. And dude, that was like THQ in their prime. and there is another game on my list, I should say, that has
Probably
THQ
the same
in their
one
prime.
that me and you have.
And I think somehow we may all have it. I know me and you are probably gonna have it, but
I can guarantee we both have it.
we'll be getting to that down the list. But UFC 2010, man, that game, I can't say enough good things about it. The only
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all good. The only thing that I wish I could have done is I wish we could have got the gold medals for the weekly challenges before the servers went to shit and they turned them off. Yeah,
Robbed of a platinum.
yeah. We were robbed of that plat. But regardless, man, UFC 2010, that game's gonna go down in history in my opinion as like the greatest UFC game of all time. Because after that, EA just kind of ruined the series, in my opinion. The engine's just. You could really do anything you want on the old school THQ ones. That's what really made it just addicting, and you would just have so many bizarre moments. Stop the match first, stop the match.
Yeah,
And-
but I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off, but I was gonna say, ironically, I know it's not the game you guys are talking about, but there was another THQ game that released around the same time that I would say is THQ Prime. Tyler might have it on his list, but I know I don't, so I'll just throw it out into the world. I was so close to putting Saints Row 3 or Saints Row the Third on my list.
I was kind of hoping one of you guys
And-
would have Saints Row.
Because I
just
had,
'cause
it was
it's
such
iconic.
it's such an amazing game.
I got to see Gerber play through that whole
Yeah.
damn thing. Roddy Piper
And I
was in it,
had
right?
so many,
That's
yeah.
the fourth one.
No, that
Oh,
was the
damn.
fourth one.
Oh,
But I had so many awesome, like, just memories of playing that game. Especially the most recent time I played through it was me and Isaac played through the whole thing co-op to get the Platinum Trophy. And we fucked around so hard on that game, as you do in Saints Row. It's literally made for fucking around. But one of the funniest things we did is we literally were just like, okay, let's try to get every single car in the game into the penthouse and just drive it off the fucking helipad. And so we literally spent like 12 hours straight one night just trying to drive every single car into the elevator. And it was a complicated process. It sounds
Wow.
a lot. It sounds a lot easier than it is. But you'd have to open both doors to drive the car in, and then to get it to actually go up the elevator, you'd both have to get out of the car and like stand in the elevator so that it triggers the thing to bring the elevator up.
that's crazy how they actually allowed that to happen. Wow.
And some cars we couldn't get. Some cars, there was one car in particular that we literally couldn't even get in the front door of the hotel, and we were like, yeah, this is the worst car in the game. It was literally just like some station wagon. I think it was called like the Keystone or something like that. You
The
literally couldn't even
Keystone,
get it in
okay,
the
that
front
works.
door. I was like, this is the worst car in the game.
Pennsylvania.
But also, when we were doing that, we thought it was... Tyler knows this story. We thought it would be funny because in that game you could just go in to like the mixtape app on your phone, and you could just pick any songs in the game soundtrack, and it would just play forever.
Are you serious? Wait,
And you could
wait.
just pick, and you could pick any songs, like have a playlist.
Was this the game that Black Veil Brides was on the soundtrack for Perfect Weapon? Was
I
that,
think it was, yeah.
No, I think that was the fourth.
Or was it the 4?
I don't remember.
Ah, here, I'll just look it up for
But-
the hell of it.
I know for a fact there's a song that plays during the final mission of the game, and I don't even know what the official title of the song is.
It's either Just Hero or I Need a Hero by...
No, I think it's like Waiting for a Hero or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Need a hero to save me.
But it's Waiting for a Hero, and it's like, I need a hero! Or whatever. And I literally had that as the only song on my playlist that entire night. And it literally just played over and over and over again for 14 hours straight. And even to this day, when I hear it, I literally just cringe to myself because I listened to it for 14 hours straight.
When there was
insane.
one day where me and Isaac were working together, and I randomly thought of that, so I went up to him like, hey Isaac, do you love that song? And I said this song, and he goes, God damn it.
he knows, dude. It was
Yep.
so. We both did it. It was so fucking bad.
Oh, it had Perfect
We were
Weapon
so
on it.
triggered.
Oh, triggered.
But yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Saints Row 3, another honorable mention, I would say.
I'm not even into that series, and like that game, from what I've heard and seen, it was just insane.
Ironically, I haven't played all the Saints Row game. Again, that's the first one in that series that I played because of Gerber.
I played 2, 3, and 4. I didn't play 1.
I tried playing 2, but I couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people couldn't get into it because it was so much of a GTA clone, which is where I think 3 and 4 definitely tried to stray away
They
from
tried
that
to make it
image.
more comical.
That's probably the reason why I never bothered with Saints Row. I just
But-
saw it as a GTA clone. Man,
Yeah, so
that was actually Wasn't Saints Row the Third? Yeah, wasn't that like the last game that THQ actually had the chance to make? Because then after that,
they
the
made
studios
most of 4, but then the license got transferred over to Deep Silver.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember seeing like.
So
Gat
4
Out of
was
Hell.
like pretty much their creation
Oh, okay.
for the most part.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that from Gerber. I was like,
But yeah, so Tyler, you're number 8.
My number 8 is a game that I know for a fact we are all going to agree with is so damn amazing. You're going to be upset that I technically have it low, but it's still on the list regardless. That is a game that came out last year for PlayStation 4 exclusively, Spider-Man. We're all in agreement.
Yep,
We're all in agreement. Yep.
that's on my list as well, by the way.
Same.
So, yep,
We'll
I'll
get to it later, but
Yeah.
Whichever you two say it last, that's when we'll talk about it. So, my number 8 is Spider-Man PS4, but we will talk about that, though.
There's so
yeah,
many
we'll talk
good
about it later.
things
We
to
all
say.
collectively have it on our list, so
I'm still
instead
waiting.
of talking about it 3 separate times, we'll just talk about it once.
I'm still waiting for that Stanley outfit.
But
If we ever get it.
so we'll move on to number 7 then, since we'll be talking about Spider-Man in depth later.
My favorite game is Sneak King by Burger King.
Really? That's crazy because I don't even think it came out this decade. All right, my next one, I kind of jumped the gun a bit. I lied.
I lied.
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled isn't my favorite racing game. It's my favorite car racing game ever. My favorite racing game, maybe ever. I really don't know. I can't be so sure about that. But Forza
this being
Horizon
recorded.
3 was such an incredible game, and I'm a Sony pony, but I'm not afraid to admit
I love
that
his nickname,
Forza Horizon
Sony
3
Pony.
is a
that's your
fantastic
nickname.
racing game. Sony Pony?
Yes,
I
that's
am-
your name now.
I am.
To be fair, that's like a collective name for PlayStation fanboys.
Well, what about the Sony Jabroni? How about that?
That's a pretty good one.
I was
Sony
There we go.
Jabroni.
All right, I'm the Sony Jabroni. Can you imagine just putting that as a trademark? It seems you want to get this copyrighted. The Sony Jabroni.
That's pretty much me. But
Just spell Sony a different way.
With an I.
S-O-N-I.
yeah,
S-O-N-I.
but
Oh,
so
that was good.
yeah, I'm a Sony jabroni, as they say.
That's perfect.
But I'm not afraid to admit that Forza Horizon 3 is definitely the best racing game released this decade, if not the best of all time. Something like 500-600 cars just in the base game. With DLC, you're up to like 700 and something. 2 amazing expansions, an amazing, just not even including the DLC, just an amazing package of different racing types and race disciplines and elements, and cars from all walks of different motorsport, between just your regular run-of-the-mill regular cars to your JDM Japanese drift style cars to your like race car F1 open wheel style cars to your hyper cars to your muscle cars, everything in between. It's literally a car. Anyone who's interested in cars,
it's like the game to play.
it's the game to play. There's so many options, so many different races, so many different, you have cross country, you have sprint races, you have circuit races, you have so many different choices. You can go in and do you can literally take any race that would normally be, say, like a cross country, so meant for like off-road cars, and you can go and change it to be for hypercars if you want to, and your hypercars are all spinning out in the sand because they're not meant to be driven off-road, but you can do it if you want to. And I just played the ever-living shit out of that game. I bought an Xbox One exclusively for that game, which then I later switched to playing it on PC. Just an absolutely fantastic racing game. Definitely the best racing game of the generation, in my opinion.
I know my friend Derek would definitely, without a doubt, not disagree. I would agree with you. I totally just lost my train of thought. Yeah, because
So
Derek
amazing.
loves that game. Oh my god. That
I
game
think
is
Forza
incredible.
Horizon 4's base game is better, but I'm giving it to 3 because 3 had the better expansions, in my opinion. Mostly because 3 had the Hot Wheels expansion, and that was so fucking fun.
You know what? Come to think about it. Yeah, Derek brought it over, and it was after that came out. And we
Hot
played
Wheels
that for
thing
about a
was
good
so
2 hours.
Fun.
They
They tried to recreate that
so
in
good.
4 because they did
Yeah,
the Lego
they did a
expansion,
Lego world
but
or
it wasn't as
something.
cool because it's like the Hot Wheels thing was like completely changed the
Yeah.
gameplay because there's loop-de-loops and corkscrews and boost pads and everything.
It was
The
just
Lego
like-
thing it's just a regular city made out of Legos.
It was like I was a kid again playing that expansion, and I'm not even fully into the series. But that was
But yeah.
good. Ooh. Damn,
My
good.
number 7, Forza Horizon 3.
Hell yeah! So following in threes, my number 7 is Far Cry 3. Man,
Yes.
man, you know, how the hell do I even begin with this game? Honestly, the only bad thing, I will say the bad, because there is so much more good. The only bad part was probably the frame rate, but that's okay because this game expanded and broke so much ground and gave us the best story, in my opinion, the best villain. And to this day, I don't think they're ever going to make a Far Cry game that comes even into the same court as Far Cry 3, because
That's such an amazing game.
I know it was like the story, the influences, how it played out. I feel like they could eventually try to do something like it, but if they remastered that game, wow,
I don't
they would
know
have
that
my
it's-
money.
I don't think it's a remaster, but they did
have a
port it
PS4
to
version.
PS4.
They have an upscaled version, resolution. Yeah, it's the same game, it's just upscaled. Yeah,
It's
when
not
they,
like a full remaster.
when they do a full-on remaster of that game, because I know what's gonna happen eventually, I'm just gonna lose my shit. That game just, I can't say enough good things about it.
You know, when you think back to playing games around that time frame that you played it, like, you can't help but feel like you're in that time frame as well. And if it's like a great time, you're gonna love it even more.
Yeah.
One thing that really makes me like happy when I think about when I was playing that game, I was playing it around the time that we were getting ready to go to WrestleMania 29.
Yeah.
So just thinking about playing that also brings back of like a more simple time, a time where it's like, I mean, I'm about to go on the greatest weekend of my life.
Gonna play some Far Cry, and then WrestleMania 29's weekend. That was amazing. And dude, that game is just so timeless.
So damn good, man.
Like, damn, yeah, when that game gets remastered, I am without a doubt I'm just gonna mark out entirely.
You know, I have this weird
Perfection.
thing, and it's a continuation for me here, where I don't play entire series of like a game franchise.
You just play the
This was the
best
only,
one.
yeah, this was the only Far Cry that I played, but I'm glad I did because it was
Dude,
so good.
if you want to check out another one, there is a really good one that they put out. It's not Far Cry 5, but it's New Dawn.
Oh, the
New
expansion.
Dawn was really, really, really awesome. Personally, that is the only one in the series that comes anywhere remotely close to the third one.
So I have a confession to make.
You haven't.
I've
played
never
it.
played a Far Cry game.
You have to at least play the third one.
Wow, you need to play the third one. I'll just wait for the remaster though.
I was so close to getting Far Cry 5 and New Dawn because they're like a bundle was on sale this past week
Far
for
Cry
Black
5
Friday.
Far Cry 5 wasn't bad, but New Dawn definitely made up for it. No
But
doubts.
yeah, I really want to play 3. The only thing I remember from that game is I remember seeing commercials, and I just remember the one quote is, "It's like Skyrim with guns," and I'm just like, okay.
You know, I might in fact still have Far Cry 3. So if I do, in that case, I will totally lend it to you. Because honestly, I don't think we'll have to wait too much longer for a remaster.
I'll have to
when did
see
the
because
game
I think
come
the
out?
PS4 port was like dirt cheap. I think it's like $10-15 or something like that.
Far Cry 3, I think it came out in 2013.
I think it was 2013.
It was either the end of 2012 or beginning of 2013.
It was somewhere around
Oh,
there.
actually,
yeah,
you know what? It
because-
was the end of 2012 because they always came out. I believe they always shot for the fall, so it might have been 2012, but if not 2013. Regardless, man, that. Oh wow.
Well, it definitely came out before Mania 29.
Yeah, it
I
came
know
out
that.
before Mania 29, so yeah, probably early. I mean, late 2012. But man, the impact that game had,
Yeah.
they literally created something that was just absolute perfection.
Yep. I mean, I wouldn't know, but
Oh, trust me, when you finally get to
It
play
looks
it,
fun
you
as
fully
hell.
understand.
Oh, it is.
The only bad part, like I said, is the frame rate. I don't know if the PS4 upscale.
yeah, that's
fixed
why I
that,
would
but
rather play the PS4 version. I would hope it would fix it, but
I
who
just-
knows? If they just
yeah.
ported it, I might not have.
I think they just ported it. So, yeah. If not, when that remaster comes, because oh man, I heard for Far Cry 6 they might actually be doing it, but we'll see. What is yours, boy?
King of the North, you're number 7.
7. My number 7.
King of the Bow.
It was tough choosing between the first and second game in this one. You would think I would choose the second one because of the story in it and how much more it gave than the first one did. But going back to what I just said, when I think of playing the first one, and even if I play the PS4 version of this, it just brings me back more to a simple time. So for that, I'm going to side with this one. It is South Park: The Stick of Truth. It is one of the funniest games. It is one of the most fun games ever. It's funny because I stopped watching South Park a long time ago, but I saw him playing the game. I'm like, this is pretty funny. I'll give it a shot. And I actually got it as a birthday gift. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be a win-win. And when I played it, I'm like, this is amazing. Yep. It's messed up, but it is amazing.
Messed up is like the typical South Park humor, though.
The only issue that I had with this game, and the reason why I just ultimately never finished it, is because for 3 straight times I made it to the boss fight, I think against Jimmy, and after that I ran into that glitch that they had where the screen goes black and it hits the autosave, so you can't go back, you have to restart. And but after seeing people finish the game and play it and seeing how cool it was at the end, it was, dude, that game is something. My God, it was something.
The only thing I really hated about that game was the freaking boss fight you had to do with Al Gore. That was so much of a bitch boss fight.
Yep. Yeah, when I finally got to see that one, that boss fight was like absolutely intense. It was a pain in the ass.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, I love the second game in it. The Fractured Butthole. I loved it. The DLC was fun, those missions, and the fact it was a superhero game technically, like, that added for me. But when I think of playing Stick of Truth, it was like a more simple time. It was like a better time for me. So like that's why I'm like siding with Stick of Truth on this.
I mean, honestly, I think the Stick of Truth is the best one out of the series that they made. Is there only 2 games or is there 3?
Yeah, it's just the 2.
Oh, okay. So I know, the creators were hands-on making that game too, which is great. That always helps when there's always hands-on and trust and everything to make a game like that. So
I think one of them was actually sent to the hospital because he had some kind of infection, but he begged them to let him go so he can continue to work on the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I never got to play either Stick of Truth or the Fractured Butthole. I was meaning to pre-order the Fractured Butthole because it did come with a PS4 port of Stick of Truth, but I never got around to it. I think they still come bundled together anyways.
Actually,
if you could online, yeah.
Well, yeah, there is a port of the Stick of Truth, yeah.
Yeah, if you do it through the PlayStation Store, then yeah, you can get it. Because if you do a physical one, you only have a certain time to redeem that code.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something to think about. I might jump back into playing that and actually first-hand finish it. We'll see. Legendary game, though, no doubts. So, loading on number 6, right?
6. Yep.
Stars.
So, number 6. Round it out. I guess
just about halfway.
About halfway. This is a game that I didn't play until recently, even though it's been out for 7 years now. And that is Borderlands 2. Now, I only recently played this actually when the Handsome Collection was free for PlayStation Plus, which was like June, I think, of this year.
That was honestly the perfect time to play them.
And I absolutely fell in love with Borderlands 2. Not so much of the pre-sequel. I haven't played... I played about half of the first one since then. But Borderlands 2, I just played the absolute crap out of. I love the humor. It's kind of like a South Park-y, like similar-ish type of humor.
Not as messed up, really.
Not as messed up, but like
it's... As messed up. South Park definitely takes
it. Kinda, you can see where they're similar. But, I fell in love with it. It's a first-person shooter that doesn't take itself so seriously, which is, I'd say, is probably one of the only ones of its kind to do that, because every other first-person shooter is, bro, military, dude, like, you know, the typical bro shooter.
But Borderlands shooters, I like that, bro shooters.
Borderlands is something so different and so unique, and kind of invented the genre of the looter shooter, which would come to, you know, see games such as Destiny come out of stuff like that and whatnot. But Borderlands 2 is just so amazing for me. Like I said, I only really spent like a total of like 3 or 4 months with the game before 3 came out. And I would have put 3 because I think 3 is a better game. The only reason I haven't yet is, or that I didn't, I should say, is because Borderlands 3 hasn't received, like, none of the expansions have come out for it yet, whereas with Borderlands 2, all of the expansions are out, and I was able to play all of them through all the way. And I played the crap out of that game. I went through all 3 playthrough modes of the game. So you go through on normal, then you could jump up to True Vault Hunter, then Ultimate Vault Hunter. I went through on all of them.
Damn, man.
I would have had the Platinum, but someone didn't want to help me with the trophy to revive a friend.
Did
Tyler.
I say I wasn't going to?
You said you were, and I'm still waiting.
I'm just kind of caught in the middle here, so.
But yeah, so I would have had the Platinum, but...
You will get it, don't worry.
Yeah, but it's just, I could have had it already.
The King of the North.
No,
He
but,
must answer the challenge to revive
Borderlands
a friend.
2 is absolutely awesome. I think that once Borderlands 3 gets all of its expansions, it would probably be in this spot, but for now, I'll just put Borderlands 2.
If you haven't played it yet, play Tales from the Borderlands.
Oh,
I played
God.
through like half of it. I never got to finish it, though.
Wow.
Just wait till you get to the ending.
I'm not even a Borderlands player, and
I know
that Telltale
There are
is-
characters from
Oh.
Tales in Borderlands 3, though.
Handsome Jack.
Just wait till you get to the ending, though, because the ending mission on, like, episode 5, you're gonna keep wanting to play it because how fun it is.
But let's play it all.
But-
anything else on Borderlands 2?
No?
Well, I'm about to drop a bombshell for my number 6.
Oh, God.
My number 6 is WB 13. And my God, this game, it sucks that THQ went out of business as soon as this game practically came out. Which sucks, because I could have had the Platinum. So I got the King of the World achievement technically 5 times. And yeah, then they went out of business. But for what it was worth, it combined the Attitude Era with the Modern Era, had the whole story mode for the Attitude Era. CM Punk was the sole branded athlete on that and was the poster boy, and it just went together so perfect. And there's a legendary tagline, "Live the Revolution." And the soundtrack, oh man.
Yeah, which freaking THQ had to fight to get CM Punk on the cover.
Yeah, they had to fight for that, and then he suggested Pennywise, which is perfect, because I love Pennywise, and having Revolution as the theme for that game is great.
Yeah, the only licensed song in that game.
The only licensed song, and man, just the advances they made at that point, just, that man, the way it played out and the way they nailed it, it was like they created the perfect stamp for that period of time, and I kind of wish the WB game still played a lot like that to this day, but hey, 2K's going, and yeah, WB 13, man, I have so many memories on that game, so many online memories. Wish the online was still like that too, because those were the days, man. Just create an elimination chamber, roll on in there with your friends, raise hell. Oh, and then there was the hardcore moments. The physics, everything was just tweaked, revamped.
I really wish WWE games would have never walked away from
Yeah,
that. I feel like WWE 13 and 2K14, because they were pretty much
The
the
copy
same in
paste,
terms of
just-
gameplay.
exactly.
I feel like it was the perfect blend of arcade and fun, but also having some signs of simulation a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the perfect blend of everything, and 2K's been trying to find that ever since, and they haven't.
And they haven't, and yeah, WB 13, the way it all just set and played out, and 2K14, since that's the same game, except 30 years of WrestleMania, but just having the Attitude Era superstars with the Attitude Era theme, and then you had everything combined in, and all the good times. Even the way it played, like he was saying, it was the perfect merger of simulation, arcade, and just pure fun, man. It really was. So, that's why I put that at number 6. And I was thinking about putting it up higher, but there are other games I find more epic just because they're more modern. Because that game came out in, 2012, right?
Right at the end of 2012.
Yeah, right at the end, when the world was going to end.
Hey, I was looking forward to that, thank you.
The same with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, you remember that?
I
Because
do remember
Transit,
that.
and I'm like, yo, It's like a foreshadow at the end of the world, and he's like, I can't wait.
I was so excited too. And then when I woke up that day, when I woke up, I'm like, wait a minute, I just woke up. Those bastards lied to me.
What was the day? Wasn't it November?
December 21st, 2012.
Oh, December 20. I thought it was November for some reason.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was 12/21/12.
12/21/12. Yep.
And the irony is, December 21st, 2013 was when I got my license. So, I mean, in a way, the world did end because they were crazy enough to put me on the road.
Just give you a look like...
I remember...
Tickets?
I was in, what? 2012.
Oh, God, I'm going to feel old. I already know it's coming.
8th grade, I think. Because you
yeah.
graduated in 2017, right?
Yeah. So I guess 8th grade. I remember there was there was a girl, like, I think there was probably multiple girls, like, crying, like, leaving school, like, the day before. They're like, we're all gonna die tonight. And I'm like, I hope so.
I hope so. The hell with y'all. Ah. Yeah, I mean, I lived through so many things that the world was gonna end. My personal favorite was June 6, 2006. That was just perfect, 666. Then before 2012, there was another one. So I was working at Boscov's, and I was like,
2011, the freaking Rapture.
The Rapture was supposed to happen, and
I'm surprised we haven't had another one of those recently. I feel like the last one was 2012.
I feel like
that I can remember.
Maybe 2021. Maybe. I don't know. It'd be
21.
21.
21.
21.
Ban.
But yeah.
Ban.
Yeah, some interesting times. But yeah, that's my number 6. King of the North. How do you follow?
My number 6. This was another one where I had to keep going back and forth about which one I was going to choose. As much as I wanted to do the third one, I have to side with the fourth one on this one, just because I had more fun with it. Saints Row the Fourth.
All right. I respect it.
I love
Roddy Piper.
I love both of them the same, but 4 had more for me to to play with. Like, they had the whole superpowers and whatnot. Roddy Piper made an appearance in there.
To be fair, well, I mean, granted, I guess the Roddy Piper thing, it was just Roddy Piper, but I was going to say Hulk Hogan technically was voice acting in 3, but he wasn't playing himself.
He wasn't
so
playing
was Rob
himself.
Van Dam.
Brother. Oh, yeah,
Was
RVD.
he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
RVD
he was
in it.
the Genki Bowl thing. He was one of the announcers.
I had no idea about
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah, during the Genki Bowl, Rob Van Dam was one of the announcers for it.
I bet if I listened to it now, I'd be able to pick it out right away. I'd be like, yep, that's
Man.
RVD.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, I had no
that's
idea.
what's up, man.
But yeah, I just remember Hulk Hogan being Killbane or whatever the hell his name was. Or no, not Killbane. The good luchador was like Angel de la Muerte or something like that.
But also the ending of Saints Row the Fourth, when they're all just dancing to Montel Jordan's "This Is How We Do It," and even the alien was like doing the worm to it.
This is how we do it.
It was just so much fun.
So shows a copyright strike it down. Yo, your man was singing. This is how we do it.
But like all the corny stuff they did in there, that was still in there.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so much fun. The only thing that like really hurt me when I was playing the game was when you went into the simulation of How did I forget the name of the city now? How did I forget it now?
Steelport.
I
think the actual, like, when you were in the simulation, I think it was called something different.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah, it takes place in a simulation.
When you're in there and you go to where your building was in the third one, and it's just like burnt down and destroyed. I'm like, no.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, damn it, I can't try to get all the fucking cars in the penthouse.
I think they purposely did that just so you couldn't do it now.
But I'm pretty
like,
sure.
they're gonna do it.
The sad thing is I would agree with that, except for the fact that I'm pretty sure Isaac and I did that after Saints Row 4 came out.
Didn't we come to the conclusion that you're probably the reason why they started announcing ahead of time that your PlayStation Plus was going to expire?
Oh, yeah.
Tell the story.
Yeah.
I want to hear this story. Let's hear it.
So, when we were going for the Platinum, initially Saints Row 3 was one of the games for PlayStation Plus. And back in the day, they used to do it where it wasn't just like a new rotation of games every single month, but it was like... I think every month they would add a new game, but they would stay on the store for like a couple months at a time.
Oh.
But so I remember I did the free trial of PlayStation Plus to get Saints Row to get the platinum with Isaac. He had gotten it already, and all I needed to do was, there's 3 different acts in the game, and the last mission of each act, you get like a big choice that you need to do.
Oh, okay.
And all I had to do was finish Act 1. I think literally the trophy description is finish Act 1 another way. So it's just do the opposite choice of the one you did.
Oh, okay. So you had to do these again.
And we were literally doing the mission, and my PlayStation Plus thing expired, and it just closed the game out.
And that's because you were wasting how much time doing it.
Yeah, because we had wasted so much time fucking around with the cars in the penthouse.
Wow.
I was like, damn it. I was like, if we didn't fuck around for 14 hours, I would have had this platinum trophy already.
Damn, dude,
And then-
that's rough. That is rough.
Because nowadays they send you either like an email or it'll appear on your PlayStation, hey, next month or in a few weeks your PlayStation Plus is going to expire. But as that, you didn't get a warning.
Yeah.
And then
That was when PlayStation Plus was in its infancy. I think that was like the first year it was out, maybe even. Or maybe it was like the second year it was out. I don't remember.
Something like that. Around that time? Possibly. When they rebranded everything.
Because at
PlayStation
least
Network.
2011 was at least when, at least as far as I can remember back, because they offered 30 days of PlayStation Plus when the hacking happened.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
that.
and then they gave... Oh, man. That reminds me. Call of the Bowels. Had to wait 2 extra months to play that.
But yeah, my number 6 is Saints Row the 4th.
All right. Well, we're cracking into the top 5 here, and I think it's fitting that my number 5 is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Ooh.
Even though I got screwed out of the platinum on this game like 47,000 times.
Also, let me just point out that even though it's 56 right now, as you started talking, it was
It was
555.
555.
It's
So
even more fitting.
555, number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, 555.
Where's Big E when I need him?
5. If only we recorded this yesterday, it would have been December 5th. Oh,
Fuck.
wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
let's just throw it all away.
Yeah, it's just not. We're
We're
going to
waiting
delete. See
until
you guys.
January 5th.
See you guys on the next one.
But, no. So, GTA 5. This game is fucking, I don't even know. It's a fucking juggernaut. What, 6 years later, they're still releasing stuff for GTA
Yep.
Online.
Still as big as it was since it released. and
Literally,
shark
they,
cards piling
with the
dope.
Diamond Casino update, Rockstar said that was the biggest influx of players that they've seen since the launch of the game.
Yeah, like this game is still alive, and the next game comes out apparently next year as a launch title. We'll see.
I
for the
don't see that
PlayStation
happening.
5,
I see
we'll
it getting delayed to like 2021 or maybe even 2022.
Oh man,
But
hopefully.
GTA 5 is just, the story was so awesome. I loved the whole 3 protagonists thing, being able to switch between them and them all having different missions and them all
special
being
abilities and all
yeah,
that
having
stuff.
different special abilities and them being having different skills in different areas. Like Franklin is the best at driving, Michael's the best at shooting, Trevor's the best at flying, all the different stuff. It just created such a cool dynamic. I have so many memories of playing online, whether it be
Right.
with you guys or with Junior and Isaac or with Mark and my buddy Mikey.
I need to get back on there, dude. I think now is a great time to get back on there. Because the hype train. Oh.
And so many great memories, so many DLC drops, so many glitches and exploits, like us being in fucking North Yankton and
Dude,
shit
oh man.
when that was possible.
I wish they just added that as a DLC at the airport. That's one of the biggest losses I wish they could do it.
I
now.
still remember we
That's
thought we were
crazy.
so fucking funny because we were like taking screenshots and we were like tweeting them at Rockstar, like, hey, we're in North Yankton at Rockstar Games.
Right. We're in North Yankton.
Look where we are at Rockstar
I
Games.
think my favorite was your buddy that dies in like the original heist in the beginning. The one dude that dies. But then it swaps and then Michael died. I think it's funny just because when we were in North Yankton online, by the way, if you guys haven't even heard or have been there in the game, when you glitch it from the prologue, it'll spawn like, probably like a mile into the ocean from the airport or something, just up in the air. And it was just funny because we were just BSing and we found the grave.
Yeah.
And I decided to see if he's clipped where you just stand on him, and it was just funny because I walked in the grave and went right through him and started falling into the ocean. It was so funny.
I remember another thing
my
was,
God.
I think we like called our mechanic to bring our car there, and I remember
Johnny, and the car was blown up already.
No, for me, I think what he did was he like drove past us and went like just off the map into the fucking ocean or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
you
your
tried
mechanic
calling him.
delivered it fine.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about the moment where you're like, Johnny! Because he
Oh, no, yeah, that was
delivered
a
it and it was
different thing.
blown up. Ah, there's
Yeah.
a scratch on it.
Yeah.
There's a scratch.
If you guys don't remember, when GTA Online first launched, your mechanic wouldn't just teleport your car to you. He would actually drive it to you, and you would see him like come from like a block or two away on the map, and he would drive it to you, and he would park it, get out, and say something to you, whatever.
And then people started just killing Johnny for money and just
Oh, yeah,
abusing
people
it, so they took him out.
Yeah. Well, another reason they took him out is because
he
sometimes
glitched a
he would
lot.
fuck up.
Yeah.
And so, perfect example. I call, Johnny to bring my car, whatever. He comes fucking speeding down. I think somebody was shooting at him or something. So he comes speeding through, drives right into the gas station. Car explodes, explosions everywhere. He just climbs out of the fiery wreckage, walks over to me,
Scratch on it.
and he goes, "That scratch was there, boss." And then he turns around and walks away.
Yep.
I'm like, Johnny, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Johnny was legendary. Johnny on the spot. Oh, God. There's
I was
so
like, I'm
many-
paying you like $600 a day for this shit.
There's just so much good things to say about Grand Theft Auto 5. It's
Yeah.
still on my
And
list,
then
too.
when
we're
fucking-
getting there.
It was around when everyone was getting the glitched money. Like, you had glitched money, Isaac had glitched money, and
Oh,
Junior
yeah.
had glitched money. So none of you guys wanted to do missions. So I was just sitting there struggling for money because I didn't want to do missions by myself.
And then I ended up just modding cars for you because Isaac wouldn't give you the cars.
Well, yeah. But before we came to that conclusion, I remember I was so poor that they shut the lights off in my apartment because I literally had $0. And I was like, oh. And then I couldn't call the mechanic anymore either because I couldn't pay him. I was like, this is just like real life.
Yeah, he was like living the struggle, man. I've
That was
never
the
seen
struggle.
such a struggle in Grand Theft Auto Online, but he lived it.
I lived it.
He lived it. So many
did.
good things to say about that game. The campaign was absolutely iconic. The campaig's one for the ages. Now, I don't know if the next one's going to have 3 protagonists. I feel like they might just
I think they might just go back to one.
They might just go back to one. Kind of reminds me, Red Dead Redemption 2 was rumored to have like multiple people, but then there's
I didn't like Red Dead 2.
I did not either. But man, Grand Theft Auto 5 though, they hit that sucker out of the park, and it sucks the shark cards took off because they were gonna do single player DLC,
Yeah.
but then it just was pointless because they made so much money off shark cards.
That's my one complaint about GTA 5. As much as I love it,
I would have
is
loved
nowadays.
DLC.
Well, not only that, like, would I have loved single player DLC, but for me, the most annoying thing is them hyping everyone up for a new update. It's like, oh, look at all these cool things, all these new cars, new clothes,
Dude,
new
they're
casino,
updates,
whatever.
though. Wow. those
And
updates were
it's a
great.
ton of content that drops, but you need how many millions of dollars to participate in any of it? It's
Yeah.
so annoying.
I gotta admit, nowadays though, with the arena wars, you could really stack money and stack rep and everything. So that's
Yeah,
another
but you
reason.
need like $2 million just to buy a
Just to
garage,
get
and then
in.
another million or so to buy the car for it.
Yeah, so they're really trying to string
It's
the short
insane.
cards along, and
And every new car they
Yeah.
add, no matter how good it is like $2 million. It's like, fuck off, man.
yeah. Other than that, man, like the game itself, I just think is perfect for a Grand Theft Auto title, and it's also on my list. We'll get there, but wow.
GP, what's your number 5?
My number 5, following in the Rockstar footsteps, is Red Dead Redemption. That game, Grand Theft Auto in the Wild West. It's the easiest way
That's
to
pretty
put
much
it.
what it is, yeah.
And that's how they showed the Grand Theft Auto 5, the first the teaser. They literally had bullet holes on the side of a building that just said GTA 5. That was so cool. And it was ironic because your 5 is that, my 5 is Red Dead Redemption, and they tease GTA 5 right through Red Dead Redemption. So, but the fact of the campaign in Red Dead Redemption, dude, oh my god, you just can't beat it. You can't. And the online just took on a thing of its own. I mean, sure, it wasn't like Grand Theft Auto 5 standards, but for the time, it's fun, and still to this day, you can play it on PlayStation Now, online, which is awesome, and I just enjoyed all the characters in that game and just the innovations it made for the time. It was like something that people really didn't necessarily want at that time, but it shows how Rockstar could just make staples whenever they want. Whether it's Manhunt, or it's Red Dead Redemption, or it's Grand Theft Auto, or it's Bully. You know, they could.
Bully.
Yeah, apparently the sequel might be coming possibly
better be.
next year. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think next Rockstar might be working on a medieval game, which would be really crazy. So they just kind of come outside of the box and they make these iconic games that everyone always thinks of, and they're like, wow, that game changed life as we know it. And Red Dead Redemption was one of those games.
I never fully played through Red Dead Redemption,
I need to play
but
the
I
campaign
do
again.
remember having a shit ton of fun playing Undead Nightmare.
Dude, and
at my buddy Mark's house.
Yeah, man, and the DLC that they put in was great, from Liars and Cheats to the Undead Nightmare, which in itself is just famous just because of the zombies. It was like the perfect merger between Red Dead, zombies, and Rockstar. I wish Grand Theft Auto would have done something with zombies.
I really expected that to be
I
one of the
really
DLCs.
expected that, and yeah, since it's on PlayStation now, I gotta play through the campaign again. They also have Undead Nightmare on there, which is great. So
Nice.
classic.
King of the North, number 5.
King of the North.
My number 5. This one, it's a special place in my heart. I love this one so damn much. It is Telltale's Season 1 of the Walking Dead game.
God, good times.
As
Good times. Wow. That was
So,
the beginning too. Wow.
I am not a fan of the Walking Dead show. Never have been. When I found out they were making the game and it had nothing to do with the show, I'm like, okay, maybe, I'll take a look at it.
That's when you fell in love.
I got the first episode. I'm like, $5, okay, it's worth a shot. When I finished it, I immediately went right back to the PlayStation Store and bought the season pass, because I knew right away I was going to have to play the whole thing. Like, following Lee and Clementine's story throughout the whole thing, like, you felt like you were there. That's how, like how into it that I got, and so many other people definitely.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you about it, and this is where it was way easier back then to be able to share profiles on PlayStation. Because PS3, he just had to sign into my account, and then
Yep.
boom.
That was it. As long as you had the account on your system profiles, you could play any content that was on that profile.
Because I was telling
The good old
him,
days.
I think you were saying you weren't sure if you wanted to. I'm like, all right,
Yep.
I'm going to give you my account info. You can have it for free. You have to play this game. And
it changed
it
everything.
was so good. And I think that may have been the first video game that I ever bawled my eyes out when I finished it, like that ending. Because I chose to kill Lee in the end, because I couldn't let him turn, and
Yeah.
I bawled my eyes out.
Like, I gotta admit, that really kicked it off for Telltale. I mean, yeah, before that they made Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, but The Walking Dead was, I think, where they found
That's
their
what
niche
spawned
entirely. That's what spawned it all.
the Telltale craze, which unfortunately inevitably led to their downfall because
They never
they let it
improved
get to their
anything.
heads. But
Yep. The Telltale games and series always hold a special place in my heart. I don't have any on my list, I'll be fully honest, but
I don't either.
those games are iconic.
If I could make like a top 20 list, like a
Yeah.
lot of them could have been Telltale
Yeah,
games.
if we had the top 15, I would have easily stuck one in there, just because.
Definitely
Telltale.
for me, it would have been The Walking Dead Season 1 and either season of Batman. For
Dude,
me.
I gotta
love
admit,
that, man. Loved it.
I really hope who bought the studio, I hope they make a sequel to The Wolf Among Us and Batman. The Walking Dead, that ship sailed. I'm not sure how it ended, if it was super, super good in terms of how the game was,
It was
but
amazing.
the game actually was good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't too sure. I know we were talking about it before on the last thing that we were filming, but yeah, those games are just iconic. It just sucks that Telltale, they completely let it all just get to their heads, and they never improved much for the most part, but damn, man, that classic engine, the Telltale, whatever engine they call it, it's, wow. That just brings back memories. Like, years from now, you'll pop in a Telltale game, and you'll be like, wow. It'll just take you back in time.
Like nowadays when it comes to games, if like whether it be like episodic games or full games itself, like times change. Like I'm never really in a rush to play a game unless it's something I desperately want to play. But like back then, when I found out like what day the next episode was coming out, if I had off work, I'd be waiting the whole time for the PlayStation Store to upload it. If I had work, I'd get off work, and I would, because this was
Just be
before
ready.
this was before I had my license. So like, if my mom was bringing me home, I'd be sitting in the Jeep like, hurry up! I want to download the episode. I want to play it. Come on! And even like downloading
The
the
hype,
episode, downloading the episode was killing me because I had to wait to play it.
Yep.
But as soon as it was done, I was right into it.
Wasn't like one episode like 2 gigs each or something like that, or was it 1.2 gig? I forget. Yeah, it was something. I looking at it download, I was like, come on.
I played a lot of the Telltale games, but I never played one in like the actual episodic format. Like I never bought one and then was like, okay, play episode 1, wait a couple months, play episode 2, wait a couple months. I always, even ones that I bought right from the beginning, like Batman Season 2 I had from the beginning, but I was like, I'm just gonna wait till they're all out and then I'll play them all at once.
Dude, the Batman one, oh my god.
So good.
I really, really hope that there is a new one where they even finish it or something, because the way they ended the Batman one, it just sucks knowing that Telltale went under.
Yeah.
Because that next season would have been something.
Yeah.
No
I need another.
doubt. I need another. I need it.
Another.
Another.
This game, I like it.
Another.
All right, my number 4. This one, so near and dear to my goddamn heart, and it breaks my heart to know that we'll never get a goddamn another one. And that is Skate 3. I would have put Skate 2, but that technically released in 2009, so therefore not eligible for this list.
Hollow Meat.
But Skate 3 was still really freaking amazing. I have so many fantastic memories of playing through that game multiple times just because I wanted to keep playing it and keep having things to do. I remember downloading hundreds of just random parks that people uploaded and playing them with Mark. We would just go online and be like, oh, is this park any good? I don't know, let's download it, let's go.
See what's up.
Most of them were trash, but you'd find needles in a haystack every now and again of some amazing parks. But
yeah, takes me back.
and then eventually we would go back and delete all the shitty ones, and then we'd just have this amazing
list lineup of parks.
A lineup of parks to go through, and we would just
That reminds me.
we would literally just sit there and chill and just keep skating the same lines over and over again and just talk, and every now and then you'd fuck around and go fuck with the Hall of Meat and everything.
The Hall of Meat, I got it. I'm not even in the skate, more of a Tony Hawk guy, but the Hall of Meat, oh my god, that was the only thing that I was like, damn, this is fun. Just tossing your guy and just seeing what the fuck happens.
And then just goddamn, I love the Skate franchise. I really, really wish that there was any hope for Skate 4 or for anything skate related, but
We're in that Tony Hawk
as of about a couple weeks ago, EA officially dropped the trademark and license to the game. So unless someone picks it up, we're kind of fucked.
We're kind of fucked.
So
Man.
love Skate, absolute goddamn fucking greatest game.
Fucking.
I have so many memories of that game. Skate 2 was almost my first platinum before I even gave a fucking hell about trophies. I was only like 2 or 3 trophies away on my original account, and I think the only reason I didn't get them is because they shut the servers off. They turned them back on recently, which really got people like, oh, they got to be doing something. If they turned them back on, they got to be doing something.
Why'd they turn them back on?
I think it was just because they went on to the Xbox One backwards compatibility thing. I think that was
that was it. That was all she wrote.
People were like, oh, they're doing something.
They're doing something
But-
now. Fuck.
Yeah, it was both game. Well, Skate 1 I actually didn't play until very recently, and the PS3 version is kind of garbage. It has shitty frame rate, but 2 and 3 are just so fucking fantastic. I know 3 is specifically the one we're talking about, but
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I had to apply for the decade, so I don't blame you for putting the third one in.
but it was just so awesome. I loved everything about the game, and it's one of the very rare cases where normally if a game has a lot of glitches or it's buggy, you're like, man, fuck this. Like, they didn't put their time and care in and stuff. But Skate 3 is one of those games where the glitches actually make the game better and more fun and just funnier because you just don't expect it, and then randomly your guy will contort into the ground to be twisted up like a pretzel, and it's just fucking hilarious.
Yo,
So
the good times.
I love Skate. I really, really wish we could get another one. I don't know if we will. I don't think we will, and that makes me a sad, sad panda.
I'm sorry to hear that. But, so moving on, my number 4, which is one of the things I was hinting at as we started, and it's a perfect way to start this decade of decadence, and this is Call of Duty Black Ops 1. dude, let me tell you, coming off of World at War, this game nailed it. And for me, it was basically Zombies was in its prime entirely, because that's where the main story was created that they then dragged on through the rest of the series. So think about Black Ops and knowing how it just stepped it up from World at War, but in their own way instead of going after the war. Dude, even the multiplayer maps, multiplayer had my heart for that. Dude,
I remember, it was...
The campaign was iconic.
I remember summer of 2011, me, you, Anthony, Matt, and Ryan, Storm, we would all just... Charlie, we'd get online. Nobody could beat us on multiplayer.
Yeah, nobody could beat us, and the DLC was perfect. There's not one bad thing I could say about that game. I mean, they even did the custom ability for online where you could buy face paint with the COD coins or points, whatever the hell they had before it transitioned into microtransactions, and just all the innovations they added to the online, new game modes, you name it. But the campaign itself, dude, wow.
I'm sure if Anthony were here, he would love to tell the story about how he got screwed at GameStop with it.
Oh my god, yeah. Man, that game just... It was my first year in college, and right out of high school, was like, damn, this game looks good, and we played it, we were like, wow. Just the direction they took was perfect. They were on top of their game when they did that, and seeing how next year's Call of Duty may in fact be a Black Ops reboot, told in a different, I guess, a different style, kind of like Modern Warfare, what they did this year. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a classic game back in the day, though. So it should be interesting. And whatever the hell they're bringing next year for Black Ops rebooted, apparently, if this is what it is, I feel like it will be, just due to the circumstance with the studios. I am totally ready. And there's just so many memories on that game. I had to throw it up here.
Yeah.
I had to.
For my number 10, when it was
great way to start the
Black
decade.
Ops 2. All right. So, are you still talking about Black Ops then, or are you?
Nope. I'm all good on Black Ops. All I could say though is, man, that game started the decade off well.
For me, I definitely was debating harshly between BO2 and BO1 for my number 10 pick. But King of the North, Tyler, what are we looking at for your number 4?
Well, before I get that, I was just telling him, and I'm sure obviously it's gonna get cut out when you edit it, but I don't have a Call of Duty on my list, but if I did, it would be either Black Ops 1 or World War 2.
Yeah, dude, World War 2...
World War 2...
I mean, I need this guy... I want to get back on there and just start playing. I reinstalled it. Online is... Man, it's cool how they changed it. Everything got better. I still would love to go after that Zombies Hardcore Easter egg trophy.
For me, the thing that killed World War 2... For me, I know it's very much like a hardcore Call of Duty fan type of thing. Like, I'm sure you guys literally did not give a fuck. But I was so incredibly pissed off that there was so many issues that were irking the hardcore community. And they were just fucking ignoring all of it. And then it turned out at the end of the year that it was because both studio heads were leaving. So they were just not communicating with fucking about anything.
So then they started making these changes.
And then once the studio heads left, the new studio head went in and actually did all those changes that everyone had been asking for.
Yeah, so
by the time they got implemented and finished, it was like end of January, beginning of February, and by then, for me, it was too late. I still played the game a little bit, and I loved the changes that they made, but it was too late for me. I had already played 3 to 4 months of the shitty version of the game, if you will.
That campaign, though, man.
But regardless, I remember...
Dude.
The campaign was amazing, but I remember our fucking... us all partied up in war, just fucking demolishing people.
Whenever the hell you guys want to do that again, I'd love to get back on. I was playing a little bit the other week,
I wish we could get the whole party back together with Byers and Anthony and Doomer and everybody.
I think Byers still has it.
I know after a while we weren't able to get another night. Eventually, I'm like, I did all I could with the game, so I got rid of it. But honestly, over time, it's like I really want to get that game again. So like, if we were able to plan something, I would just run out and get it again.
I have it. It's installed and everything. So I was just on it the other week. So whenever any of you guys are ready to do some war or some zombies or whatever, and if we want to get it together for that hardcore zombies thing, I want to get that done before I attempt the Rhine trophy, because that is by far the most ball-busting trophy I've seen in recent years.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to get a group together for the hardcore zombies Easter egg. That shit is fucking stupid hard.
But to get to my actual number 4,
Number 4
is it's a game that I know you haven't played it. I don't think you've played it, but it was kind of hard picking a game out of like this somewhat franchise, and you probably know what I'm about to say because I had asked you about it. But the rule we were going with, it could only be one game in a franchise, but through like technicalities, I could have had all like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human. I could have had it all in there because there's only like very small hidden Easter eggs that connects them.
Specifically, he asked me about it, and I said unless it's like specifically stated and like straight up evidence like thrown into your face in the main story that they're connected in some way, I was like, other than that, like I would count them as separate.
And like the other 2 games, I will say I would want to put them on, but I do want to be fair. I'm only going to pick one of them. The other 2 could have been the thousands and thousands of honorable mentions that we could have gone through, but the one specifically that I'm choosing is Beyond Two Souls, because I love Detroit Become Human. I really loved Heavy Rain, but this one, I was more into this story, and I thought it was unique how they were able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like put into. I can't think of the word right now, but put into like the story of how like you have this entity following you in the game. It's not like your character doesn't know it's there. Like you both help each other out. You can even have a second person play as the entity. So
Oh really? That's cool. That's
so
cool.
You can play as Jody. Pretty sure the character's name was Jody. It's been years since I played it, but you can play as her, your friend can play as the entity, and, like, you know, government finds out you have these powers or whatever it is.
Superpowers.
They put you in the military, they set you up on this mission, so you go AWOL, you're on the run, but another cool thing is Willem Dafoe's in it, the Green Goblin himself.
Nice.
So, you know,
That's
of course,
awesome.
of course that's going to be great.
Of course.
And I'm a sucker for games that have like these big crazy conclusions at the end of the game, and this one definitely did. And with the way that these games are, it's so much branching. I'm a sucker for branching stories.
He's a sucker for it, man. Some of the branches in these games are crazy.
And what was it?
There's so many branches. Sorry to cut you off, but there's so many branches in those games that it actually kind of gets annoying. Because specifically when going for trophies, I should say.
Yeah,
something like that. Like for
yeah.
Detroit Become Human, I was like, okay, this doesn't seem like such a bad platinum. But then I realized that like to actually get some of the choices to save, you can't just go chapter select and then do that thing and then play it from there.
Yep.
Because it keeps the rest of the chapters are still going to be on the save that you originally had. So to actually get it to count, you basically have to restart the entire game and play it through and make those other choices. But there's like 4 different playthroughs you have to do up to certain extents. It's so fucking annoying.
I can imagine.
From a trophy standpoint, it's annoying.
You know,
like, that was the pain in the ass for me. Like, when I was doing PlayStation 3, I did the whole thing for Heavy Rain. I loved it, but it was still a pain.
Yeah, how
Beyond
did that exactly
Two Souls,
go there with Heavy Rain? How did that go?
You can go back to the chapter, and then it would just continue from there.
I don't know why
so
they
that
didn't
wasn't
do
so
with Detroit
bad.
Become Human.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Heavy Rain, if you just go back to a certain chapter, then once you start there, okay, then as you're going through, it'll all, like, it, like, restarts, basically.
It rewrites your...
I wish Detroit did that.
Wow,
because
yeah, I was going to say, when you mentioned Detroit's issue, I was like, did Heavy Rain do that issue?
No, Heavy Rain is
Okay.
whatever you went back to, that's where it would start, and then you can go forward.
It seems like such a weird oversight then, and that if they did that for Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain, that they would...
Maybe they thought it was
Fuck it
too
up.
easy.
Obviously, I played the PS3 version. I still have to play the PS4 version, but what I think is cool is with the PS4 version of Beyond Two Souls, the PS3 version, everything is, like, out of order, which, okay, you know, you want to tell this story, that story. PS4, you can actually set it that everything happens in chronological order.
That's cool.
Wow,
So
that's pretty cool.
That's
cool.
Because, like, you start the game as her as an adult, then you'll have, like, a flashback, you'll have one present day, future, present. It just jumps back and forth, which it's not that I hated it, but like as
It
I'm
gets
playing
confusing.
it, I'm like, I really wish this was like in order, like Heavy
Yeah.
Rain was. But then I find out that when they redid it for PS4, they actually said it that you can either play it the original way or you can do chronologically.
That's cool.
So
That's not bad. I like that a lot. That's actually pretty cool how they did that.
So, like, eventually when I do play the PS4 version again, which even talking about it's like, yeah, I really want to.
You're like itching to play. You're like, yeah,
Even going back to what I said
That's how I feel
earlier,
about almost all these games that I talked about. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
play them now.
exactly. And we just talked about World War II and all that stuff with Black Ops coming off.
And like I was saying earlier, it's just one of those games that when you think about when you were playing, it just takes you to a better time.
Yeah.
It takes you, it's like a timestamp. It takes you back to where you were when you first played the game. It's cool. It makes a staple, man.
So my number 4 is Beyond Two Souls.
All right, boys. Top three
Top
for
3,
each of us.
and then we get to eat the pizza that is, I almost botched right in that back corner.
I know I said that my
Ready.
top 2 were gonna be the actual number ones, but I'm gonna go back on this. I'm a bastard. I'll lie to you. My top 3 are gonna be the actual how they go. Everything else was just whatever.
All right.
That bastard
So,
lied to me.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I just find it interesting. Something about my top 3. I'll say about it once I reveal them all.
We already talked about my top 3, technically.
But
You're pregnant.
yes,
Okay. When's the baby due, sir?
tomorrow. But so my number 3 is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And this one is another kind of like, it's kind of odd how I just kind of stumbled into the series. Back in the day, back on the PS3, me, Junior, and Isaac, we used to like all just kind of trade games back and forth with each other. And I remember Junior trading me, I don't remember what I traded him, but I remember he let me borrow Deus Ex Human Revolution and Uncharted Drake's Fortune, so the first game. I didn't like Deus Ex, and I played like halfway through Uncharted, and I dropped it. And that was it. Never looked back, never thought anything else of it. Then, leading up to the release of Uncharted 4: Thief's End, the person that I game share with on PlayStation, Steven, he's like, hey, Uncharted 4 is coming out, like, next week. Are you excited? I'm like, I never played the other 3. I was like, I really want to play them before Uncharted 4 comes out.
Did he hook you up?
No, I hooked myself up,
Huh?
and I bought...
Oh, yeah,
I
they
spent
came
my
out with it,
$60
right?
on the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. I blasted through all 3, platinumed all 3, loved my time with it,
Dude, that's
and then
awesome.
got to 4, and I
were
was blown away. Uncharted 4 is absolutely fantastic.
I am actually currently playing that. It's okay if you spoil it, because I've seen you play it before. I saw the ending, so it's not like you're going to spoil anything for me.
Well,
So, of course, I'm biased because you get to play Crash Bandicoot in it, not once, but twice. The original Crash Bandicoot game.
wait, you have to play twice?
Yeah.
Wow. What the hell's the other level then? Or is it the same one?
It's the same. You just
Oh.
play it 2 different times in the...
Oh,
in the
okay.
story.
I was like, whoa, you holding out on me?
But, so not only
That's
that,
a lot, but you
but there's just so many Easter eggs, so many callbacks just to the past 3 games. And it's even something like, for instance, one of the just like throwaway lines that Nathan Drake says in the first game is something about, oh, I guess you've never been to a Panamanian prison. And then in Uncharted 4, you actually get to play an entire level of him spending time in a Panamanian prison. And it's just callbacks like that,
Whoa,
like
dude.
from a decade earlier, that were throwaway lines at one point that are now important, integral parts to the story.
And I've, obviously, from seeing you play it, I've seen the ending, and it's just one of those, it has the perfect ending to it.
Yeah. It has the perfect ending. If they ever do choose to make new ones, they easily could. But I think it leaves off perfectly. I'm not going to spoil it just in case for anyone who still hasn't played the Uncharted games. It's...
Well, they technically made a new game, but it was the expansion, and Nathan's
Well,
not
yeah.
even in it anyway.
But to Nathan's story, it's a perfect ending. But yeah, that's a good point. But just Uncharted 4, it's the perfect culmination of everything that Uncharted worked towards. It's the best platforming. It introduces new forms of platforming. It has, I think, the best gunplay, the best story, obviously the best cinematics because it's, the PS4. And I like it the best because personally, this isn't much of a spoiler, but if you haven't played the first 3 Uncharted games, no spoilers really, but basically at the end of all 3 of those games, there comes this weird supernatural element that always feels so out of place for what, in all other respects, is a pretty realistic game. Or what tries to be, at least. So they just throw in these random supernatural elements at the end of the game, and thankfully, Uncharted 4 doesn't do that, and I think that's what made me love it even more than I already did. But I can't say enough good things about Uncharted 4.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of not being able to say enough good things, well, we already talked about this game, but my number 3 is Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. And to tell you the truth, I don't know. We really talked about it a lot before, and you know, to me, I played the original CTR, and I was, oh my god, wow, yeah, I was 8 years old, just about, and I fell in love with that game, and it was always one of my favorite Crash Bandicoot games. Always was up there. So when this was getting remastered, finally, after years and years of like people asking and rumors and all that stuff, it finally happened, and I gotta say, I am more addicted to it now than I was 20 years ago.
Yep.
And then you get all the other stuff on top, and the online play, because I love doing online competition. So
Yeah, I forgot to mention online.
yeah, the online, the Wampa coin system, the pit stop, all the items.
I
they
love
added
the
in.
inclusion
It's
of
great.
online. Thankfully now it's in a
Customization,
better place, but for a while there, when it was just constant clock and warp orb spam, that was bad.
Yeah,
but
it's
thankfully they
issues,
toned it
so
down.
I'm glad they fixed a lot of the stuff, and now, hey, they're working on the servers because of, well, Chris was coming around. I can't imagine how many people are going to be on the server. And I just love what they did, knowing they put online, they added custom ability, they added custom stats where you could just be any class.
Yeah,
They
another
finally
thing.
added that in an update, so
Yep.
they're listening to the fans, they're making the game great, and to tell you the truth, I can't wait to see what comes next. I'm always on that game. My girlfriend loves playing that game, which is great because more Wampa coins for me and more stuff, so it's cool.
And I don't know if I mentioned it before, I might have, but the fact that they put Spyro in a Crash game and not the stupid GBA game, that was garbage.
Yeah, none of that shit.
I don't know if that's a hot take or not, that was fucking garbage. Spyro in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled is fucking fantastic.
Fantastic.
I would love a legitimate home console release of some game, not just a racing game, but an actual platformer that somehow combines the two.
Yep.
But I would also settle for what we talked about on the last episode of Peach and Pixels. Me and GP talked about the possibility of a Crash and Spyro racing game coming out at some point. That would be amazing as well.
I think it's bound to happen because I feel like we're going to get 3 Spyro Grand Prix in CTR, but I feel like that's going to open the door for... Because Crash and Spyro Racing, oh my god, the levels would be nuts. Instant classic.
Definitely.
Hopefully it happens, but... Yep, number 3, CTR, King of the North. How do you follow, sir?
So, it's ironic that this is number 3 for me, because I wish I could have put the whole trilogy on here, but I couldn't. Now, most people would pick the second game of this trilogy, but I'm picking the third game. I don't care what anybody says. I loved all these games. For me, this was my favorite one. It is Batman Arkham Knight.
Yo, that's what's up.
So, everybody's main complaint about this game was they shoved the Batmobile down our throats too much. I enjoy it. Like, I love playing the Batmobile, you know? But, could they have done a little less? Sure, but it is what it is. The story was amazing. The fact that the Joker came back in all of, like, Batman's mind, it was mind-blowing. I love the way they handled that. Most people, you know, would say I should have seen it coming, but when they revealed who the Arkham Knight was, I was just blown away, because I did not see it coming.
I need to seriously play, well, I've already
I need to
seen
play through the
Arkham
whole
Knight, but
trilogy.
I have the 2 ones after it on PlayStation now, so
I
that's
have
getting
Knight.
there.
Well, I could play it on PlayStation now, but I wanted to buy the Return to Arkham thing to just play them on PS4, the remastered version.
Well, technically, I couldn't have even put the whole trilogy on here because Arkham Asylum came out in 2009.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's
technically,
right.
I wouldn't have been able to anyway. But, like, I feel this was the perfect end to the story. All the DLC that they came out with, it was just so amazing. It was, honestly, it may have been my favorite, like, any kind of DLC they had. Like Batgirl had her own story, Nightwing had his own story, you had all these, like so many Batmobiles and Batsuits you could have worn. You could have worn the Michael Keaton Batsuit, the Adam West Batsuit, the Ben Affleck Batsuit, Batman Beyond, like just
Could
so
wear it
many.
all.
Yeah,
That's the best part.
like the 1970s cartoon Batman, and like I can't say enough great things about this game. I love the story, I love the gameplay, love the fighting in it, the DLC.
It was just perfect, right?
It was.
It was just perfect.
And
Perfect.
once you have the game beat, basically, if you get 100% all the side missions, all the Riddler trophies and everything, that's when you get the absolute true full ending. That's the way to do it. And
Damn, that's awesome.
if you guys know me, I love Batman. I love the Batman Arkham trilogy. Never played Arkham Origins though, but it's not a big deal to me that I haven't played that because that wasn't Rocksteady's game. That was
WB Montreal.
Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that was. So like, it's not truly connected to it, so it wasn't like a big deal to me. But this trilogy is, I love it. I love it. I'm in love with it.
Gooch.
All right, number 2. This is one that it might be a little bit controversial, that it's number 2 and not number 1. But remember, this is my opinion. This game is not only one of the best games of the generation, not only one of the best games of the decade, but one of my favorite games of all time. I'd say it's in my top 5 of all time. And that is God of War 2018.
Hey, there you go.
This game, I can't say enough good things about. It took Kratos, who was always a one-note character, always just roar, anger, roar, kill everybody, and it turned him from that into a loving father with a son that he's raising, that he's trying to teach. He's trying to teach him how to cope with being part god, at least.
He's just a boy.
And it's just so amazing how the game goes. There is an absolutely amazing twist at the end that you don't see coming. If you're really familiar with Norse mythology, you might see it coming based off of just like one throwaway line super early in the game, but otherwise it's a complete twist. It's so amazing. The sequel, whenever that hits, is going to be fantastic. The combat is literally the most satisfying combat that I've had in any game ever. The weight of the Leviathan axe, when you throw it and it comes back and you feel the vibration in the controller every time it hits, you see Kratos like kind of almost like get pushed back by it when he grabs it. I can't say enough good things about God of War. I platinumed it. I did everything there is to do in the game. Went through New Game Plus. It is absolutely amazing.
It really upsets me because except for Ascension, I've played every God of War game except for that one. So this one and Ascension I haven't played, and I love the games. Like, I couldn't get enough of God of War 3. So knowing that I haven't played this one yet, it hurts.
Didn't you say that it got spoiled for you, though? Like that big twist that I'm talking about at the end? Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm so sorry. That's like the fucking twist. Like, it's so fucking good once it happens. And then it fucking clicks in your head that, like, that throwaway line makes sense now. Dang. It's so fucking awesome. But, yeah, GP, you're number 2.
So my number 2 is also a game that could have easily been number 1, but due to the personal attachments, I had to put this at number 2 because number 1 I just can't resist. But Marvel Spider-Man, gonna put it at number 2. I'm not even the comic book guy, but
some exceptions here and there.
There are some exceptions here and there, like Telltale Games, for example, Batman. But playing this game, oh my god, I was like, wow, this is just entirely gripping. And the fact that they rendered the whole Manhattan Island, and I'm always there doing art shows, so to just see all this stuff just pinpointed exactly like how it is in real life, like obviously there aren't businesses because you'd have copyright, but
Yeah.
for what they did, dude, between that, the mechanics, the way the game looks, like, you could just tell they took their sweet time with this, and it was just absolute perfection.
Yeah.
For real. And the story itself, I was so blown away. And the fact that they had so many things for you to go after you finished the original campaign was awesome. The DLC was awesome. I can't say enough good things about it.
Love the game, but I can't say I played the DLC, though.
The DLC is... I like the DLC. It's better off playing it back to back to back. The DLC is great, though.
It's actually funny, because earlier when I'm like, oh, I wish Anthony was here, he could tell the story about how GameStop screwed him out of a Black Ops Hard Edition. Well, I mean...
Man.
Well, I have a similar story, because GameStop screwed me out of the Collector's Edition of Spider-Man, and I was very pissed off about it. And, so,
GameStop.
months went by that I didn't play the game just because of how pissed off I was. Like, it was just a reminder of that. And GameStop knew they fucked up, definitely, because when I took their collector's edition back, like the next day, they offered me to keep the game as like a make good thing. I'm like, I don't even want to look at the damn game. Like, that's how much they like pissed me off and screwed me out of it.
Basically, long story short, you pre-ordered the legitimate special edition that came with the statue, the DLC,
Steelbook and everything.
The Steelbook.
A whole enchilada.
And you got the stupid
GameStop.
GameStop collector box, which just came with the regular edition of the game.
Oh, it didn't even come with it at first, because I had to go back to get the second copy because I had what I thought was the collector's edition for me.
And then you had bought the second copy for your brother.
Yeah, because I asked him if he wanted it for an early birthday gift, and he said yeah. So I got him a standard one. So I get home, and I'm like, wait, there's no game in this box. So I had to go back, get another copy, and as I was getting home, you had texted me saying, hey, don't open up that statue, because it's a spoiler. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just opened everything up, and there was no... Shouldn't there have been a steelbook? There's no deal...
Yeah,
and I quickly look it up,
over,
and I sent you the picture of everything that was in it, and I think you're like...
Yeah, yours was like a coffee mug, like a beanie,
a backpack,
a shirt or something like that.
Blanket, I think. So, call it GameStop. I'm flipping out about it.
GameStop just sucks. I only go there when I have to.
So, months went by that I just didn't want to play the game, like... Because you offered to let me borrow it.
Because I had to... Well, I had a digital copy that I had pre-ordered, and then I got a physical copy because I got the special edition PS4 Pro bundle.
I could have just borrowed my brother's copy of it, but I just didn't want to. My friends at work would tell me to play it, but I was too pissed off about it. It was, I think, the week before Christmas last year. I got a text message from you while I was at work.
Yeah, it was the week before Christmas.
And with the way that...
Or the week of Christmas, maybe. I think it was like the 21st.
The way that at least my iPhone's been for a while now is if you get a picture message, it actually won't show up on the site anymore. I see a text from you saying, so is it time to play Spider-Man yet? I'm like, why is he asking me that? And I open it up, and all I see are screenshots, and I'm like, wait a minute. I click on it, and when I zoom in, I remember my eyes just like bugging out.
Bugged out.
In all capital letters, I don't know if we're allowed to curse on here, but in all capital letters, I texted him back, "It's not the Tobey fucking Maguire Spidey suit!"
Is time to be Spider-Man yet?
So I quickly look up to see if it was legit, and all I see is like, it was like one of Sony's like announcements like, oh, surprise, let's party like it's 2002. Yes, that suit is available. And I remember tearing up at work because of how excited I was. So I went home that day, and I'm like, Hunter, can I please borrow the game? He's like, yeah, go ahead. Because he knew how excited I was.
I remember... I feel so bad for Insomniac, because they were getting so much shit thrown at them, like, the 2 weeks before they announced that. Because everyone was pissed initially when they revealed when the full suit list leaked of what was in the base game. Everyone, oh, fuck Insomniac for not putting in the Raimi suit. It's the only suit we want, yada, 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 whatever.
Yep.
So then each time they revealed the suits for each of the DLCs, it was just another wave of, fuck, damn, when are they putting the Raimi suit in? We want the Raimi suit. It's the only suit we want.
Because even back in, like, the Amazing Spider-Man games, weren't even people saying, like, please give us the Raimi suit?
I think so, yeah.
Even back then, yeah.
And then... I mean, I think the director of the game had been on like an interview somewhere that I heard him talking about it afterwards. He's like, we had literally been working on trying to get the suit in the game since before the game came out. It was just trying to go between Disney and Sony and figuring it out, like trying to get it figured out. Because obviously, I don't remember. He kind of explained it, but it was
wasn't Sony okay with it, but Disney was like,
just wanted the MCU suits in, and they didn't want to promote a movie that wasn't theirs.
Even though there's how many people demanding that suit.
Yeah,
I know, it's just...
But then they finally got it, and then... But that was after all the DLCs had come out. So then they were like, oh, here, free update, here's the suit. And then everyone was like, oh, our fucking threatening of the developers worked, us sending death threats worked, look, you could fucking get anything you want if you just threaten developers. And it's like, no, like, they've been trying to do this for months now. It just so happened that...
Yeah, we threatened them good, man, yeah.
It's like, it just so happened that, you know, this last DLC reveal came like 2 weeks before they actually were able to put the suit in the game. So people were like, oh, it worked. And it's like, no. No, it didn't. But alright.
Yeah, people are just self-absorbed. Essentially. But yeah, Marvel Spider-Man. Perfection.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about it more once we get back to you.
Oh, yeah. Just a little bit.
Yep, that's okay. We'll be talking about something else we mentioned before.
That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
That's a spoiler. Spoiler!
So, we're on my number 2. So, we've already talked about this game, and I kept going back and forth between this one and the one that came out the next year, but I decided it had to be this one, WWE 13. I was going back and forth between that and 2K14, because I love that one too.
Man,
but
13 was just perfect.
13 was my, not the game itself, but the fact they did Attitude Era, that was my childhood. Bringing up all that nostalgia and whatnot.
And the DLC was perfect too. With Chainsaw Charlie and Too Cool.
Val Venus.
Gangrel was in the game. Like, it was just fucking perfect. It was just perfect.
Yeah, we pretty much talked about that, so I don't really have to get too into it, but even still, it's like, when they said, yeah, WWE 13, we're going to be focused on the Attitude Era, immediately I was like, here's my money, here you go, here you go.
As someone who only ever played it at, like, your guys' houses, I can, just from the couple of matches I played, even though it's basically the same as 14, I could just tell that it's the pinnacle of WWE games.
Dude, it's like a crown jewel, man.
It's like that and SmackDown Here Comes the Pain are like the top.
I hope that remaster does happen, but I think they're just spinning their wheels.
I think like the littlest thing that they did with that game that most people be like, oh, that's cool, but for me it was like, all right, that's cool. When you finish the Attitude Era mode, the last thing you do is, before you finish this all up, let's go back to the beginning where you could say the Attitude Era started, and then it was the Undertaker Bret Hart match at SummerSlam '97 when Shawn Michaels was the referee.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like,
dude,
all right, yeah,
so
I did
good.
it. It's like, no. Let's see how this all started. And like that little thing, I'm like, that is awesome that they did that.
Yeah, like they took their time. They knew what the hell they wanted, and like the roster was great. I remember watching the roster reveal with Gerber, and I was just losing my shit. We were all losing our shit. Oh my god. It's crazy. Ken Shamrock was in the damn game. Like, everybody who was anybody. Boss Man. Just, nostalgia.
And when they released some of the photos, like, seeing arenas like Rock Bottom, Survivor Series 98, I'm like, oh my god. Like, if, like, all you had to do was, like, put the word nostalgia on a bus and just have it run me over. That's what it was like.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. It was perfect. And to this day, still is perfect. Perfect.
So, moving on to our number 1, our favorite games of the decade. Like Tyler said before.
Pretty much knew what yours was.
I knew it was coming from a mile away.
Question is, what's going to be your number 1?
Oh, he already knows of it. But, yeah.
My number 1, Tyler spoiled it for you earlier. You can be mad at him if you want.
Well, to be fair, we all said that it was on our list, and it wasn't until this last one that
I haven't mentioned it yet.
So, it just came full circle.
It's like what you call it.
Marvel's Spider-Man. I know many people believe that God of War is a better game. I think objectively God of War probably is the better game, but Spider-Man just
takes everybody.
Spider-Man takes it for me because I am just such a huge nerd for Spider-Man.
Nerd!
He has always been my favorite superhero. from the time I can remember. I just remember watching the Spider-Man cartoons all the time. There's been so many of them.
They're on Disney Plus.
They're all not all of them, I don't think. But most of them are on Disney Plus.
Most of them.
But Spider-Man is just such an iconic thing for me. So when I saw this game revealed at E3 2014, 15,
something like
and
that.
the 3 years to wait till launch was agonizing for me.
Yeah, dude, oh my god.
And then when we got this game, I went balls deep on Spider-Man.
Yep.
I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of the game as soon as it was available. As soon as they announced it, I pre-ordered the PlayStation 4 Pro Deluxe Edition console bundle.
Dedication, man.
I have the exclusive Funko Pop figure. I have something like over 2,000 screenshots from the photo mode of that game, which Tyler hates.
Look, currently you have 2,000 on your system. How much do you actually have altogether?
No. Right now I have about 1,000 on my system. I had about 2,500, and then I deleted some. Well, I didn't
delete them, though.
No, I didn't. To be fair, I didn't delete them. I put them on a flash drive and then put them on my computer, and then deleted them from my PlayStation. So they still exist somewhere.
Those screenshots. Oof.
A ton of. I spent probably more time in photo mode in that game than literally actually playing the game.
Yeah, he was good at photo. Like, well, you could probably still do it instantly. The way he was taking photos on the fly.
I have the photo mode shortcut. Normally, you have to go in the pause menu and scroll down to photo mode. There was an option to turn on a shortcut, so you just press like right on the D-pad and it just instantly opens photo mode.
Yep.
And so a lot of times I'd just be swinging around, whatever. Just hit it right on the D-pad. I would go change all the settings that I normally do, because I would normally go for about the same look on every photo. And then I would just snap a screenshot, change filter, snap a screenshot, change filter, snap screenshot, change filter. So a lot of my screenshots, even though there's like 2,500 of them, it's probably only like 800 or 900 unique screenshots with 5 different filters on them.
But man, he was just going for it all out.
But
you should post those on your Instagram, man. You really should.
I should.
You should.
But
yeah, iconic photos.
I played through the story mode. God. To completion, I'd say like 9 or 10 times. Mostly to get screenshots, but still. Like, I still, even to this day, when I just when I'm like, I have nothing to play, and I'll be like, I'll go play some Spider-Man. I'll just go and knock out a couple of missions, play through some missions. It's just always, it's one of those games that I can just go back to no matter what, no matter how many times I've played it.
Can we talk about that tear-jerking ending?
The ending was absolutely fantastic. I didn't think they would go there, but I'm glad they had the balls to.
This was during the time
super emotional.
I didn't want to play it, so I'm like, you could just tell me how it ends. So I knew the ending was coming, but even still, when I was playing it and I got to that ending, even I'm sitting there like it was hard for me to watch.
Yeah. I cried at the ending. I'm not afraid to say it. Sometimes even on my 7th, 8th playthrough, I'd still tear up. It's so fucking good. The swinging just... Some people might not agree with this. I think the swinging is miles better than what everyone claims Spider-Man 2 was.
Yeah, I was going to say,
in terms of swinging.
I love Spider-Man 2, but the swinging was so much fun, especially doing cannonballs and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Spider-Man PS4 got swinging just so incredibly right. Like, literally, even if you're not doing anything, just booting up the game and just swinging around Manhattan is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not doing missions, even if you're not doing crimes, even if you're not looking for collectibles, just swinging around for a couple minutes is so much fun.
Just taking in the view. It's just kind of funny because I'll be swinging by and I'll see like where my uncle's place would be in Manhattan. And I'll see like one of my favorite places, like Chelsea Market. I'll be swinging by all these places. I'm like, damn, this is cool. And just do cannonballs right on in, you name it.
2 things that I want to point out right now. One that, if you look back at it now, yeah, you're gonna feel like tears, is when you watch the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, definitely.
That one, and
we need that suit.
Because what, he was talking to MJ, and didn't he say a comment like, "You two were always my favorite"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad to see you 2 kids together again.
Yep.
And
they're like, what?
There's that, and just because like it's that throwback. Obviously, my entire playthrough, I played as the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, of course. So in the subway scene when he's in front of the train doing the webs, I'm it's just like the movie. But when he's like, that worked the last time, I busted out laughing. So
that's one of my favorite things is like the callbacks to other Spider-Man stuff, or just like even like references to like the wider Marvel universe, even if it doesn't turn into anything in the next game. But like, I don't want to spoil too much, but like having a Wakandan embassy in the city, or being able to see Avengers Tower, the Sanctum Sanctorum, Nelson and Murdoch's courthouse or whatever, or law offices or whatever.
That bugged me because I saw that. I'm like, please tell me Daredevil makes a cameo in this game, which of course he didn't. So like when it was all over, I'm like, I want a Daredevil.
One of the funniest things is when you find that landmark, he says something about, he's like, oh, that nice blind guy gave me a thing and said something about, if you ever have trouble being Spider-Man, I got you. And then he's like, wait, if he was blind, how did he know I was Spider-Man?
Perfect.
It's like a little hidden Easter egg too, and it's one that, again, it's like a tear-jerking thing. If you find a certain tower in the game and you're crawling up it, there's nothing really behind it. But when you look at the reflections, it's the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
So and as soon as you go up, and as soon as you get to the top and you're looking forward, obviously it's not the actual tower because, like copyright reasons and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they
but
made
the
reference
tower,
to it.
the tower they have in the distance is supposed to be the Freedom Tower.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I'm like, son of a bitch. But I mean that in like a great positive way. Like I thought like that was a great thing to do, and especially with Spider-Man too, because after 9/11, Spider-Man was the first like big superhero movie to come out, and like he was the American hero basically at that point.
Yeah.
And especially at the end of the movie where he's swinging and he lands right on that American flagpole. I thought it was like an amazing touch too.
Another one of my favorite things, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this game, but the costume selection, there's like 50 suits in the game now, and they span so much of Spider-Man's lore.
Through.
And deep cuts from like all of the different spider armors, to the Scarlet Spider Mark 1 and 2, to Noir, to even we now have all of the movie suits except for the Amazing Spider-Man.
Even like they were able to make it look like just like the comic Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cell shaded suit, and the like all the different DLC ones. They originally, the game had the Iron Spider from Infinity War. With the DLC, they added the comic book Iron Spider, and even after all the DLC was done, they did the Sam Raimi suit, and then they did the two Fantastic Four suits, Bombastic Bagman and Future Foundation, and then they added again the Far From Home suits. Just, I fucking love that game so much. I can't wait for the sequel. I will play it just as much, if not more, than this game, if it's anything like this game. The cast is amazing. To me, honestly, as much as I love both Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire, I think PS4 Spider-Man is like my definitive version of Spider-Man, and that says a lot.
Nice.
So I can't say enough about the game. I could probably do an entire 2-hour podcast just about this game.
Just talking about the game.
I will say though, like the main suit that you're supposed to wear in the game with like the white logo and whatnot, I do love that suit because it has a mixture of all Tobey, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland in there.
Yeah. It is an awesome suit. I love every single suit in the game. Even like the more funny ones, like the undies one where it's just him in Spider-Man boxers, or Bombastic Bagman.
Don't you die in one hit, but you kill people in one hit?
If you use the special ability for that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Isn't there one where it's like just jeans, his school shirt, and then the Spider-Man mask?
Yeah, the ESU suit. You get that one for finding the secret photo ops, I think.
I think so. Dude, fun game.
Love that game so goddamn much.
Yeah, speaking of games we could always go back to, well, at least for me anyway, no matter what period in time, I played this game so many times over the years, and it's still expanding, and God only knows where the next installment's going to go, but my number one is Grand Theft Auto 5. For me, that's my favorite Grand Theft Auto game. we touched on it quite a bit before, but for real, they really went all out for this one, and it was everything that people wanted. And the fact that they experimented with 3 characters and their unique abilities and the ties in the story and all the branches that could happen because of what you do in certain stories, it was great. The online is ever expanding to this day.
Literally, there's a new heist coming
out on the 12th. And God only knows what's going to happen with GTA 6, but, after talking about it and putting it on the list, I think I got to go back and I got to get back on that game as well. Speaking of games we have to or want to get back on, and man, I can't wait to see what the 6th installment brings, because the 5th one, that is without a doubt going to be a lot of people's favorites in that series. And if not, I'm sure there's a very good explanation as to why they like the other installments or something over 5, but dude, 5 just hit it good. It went hard and it nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, it speaks volumes to how many fucking units it sold.
I know.
I think it's the second or third best-selling game of all time.
Yeah. Like, it's just...
It's only behind, I think, Minecraft and Tetris. Which, Tetris is, kind of weird that they count it, because Tetris has been on, every single console ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I just like to say it's usually the best-selling, because usually the ones in front of it's either Wii Sports, which shouldn't count.
It passed Wii Sports.
Oh, it actually did? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's Tetris.
But it's Minecraft and Tetris.
Yeah, the Minecraft.
Minecraft I could see, but...
I could see Minecraft, but Tetris, I don't count that personally. That's on every console, but... Yeah, man. Yeah, GTA 5 left its mark, and... Can't wait for the 6th installment, but... That's my number one. Number one announcer.
King of the North, I know what's coming.
King of the North, we try. Well,
so...
Good idea. Let's see what it is.
So, August of 2015, this game was announced, and for 3.5 years, I patiently waited for it. When this game came out, my expectations were high, but holy fuck. That's all I could say about that. And not only is it number one on my list here, next to the original, it is my all-time favorite game out of every game I've ever played. You knew it was coming. You probably could have guessed this, but Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yep.
I could sit here, however long we've been sitting here talking on this podcast, I could talk that long about this game.
About it.
I could talk about it so much. And, oh my god. See, if I go on, I'm just not going to shut up. So I'm going to try to tone it down.
So, Vermin, how do you feel about number 3?
Remake. R3
We actually, we talked about it.
So,
on our other podcasts.
So I actually gotta point this out. There's some Resident Evil games that I wasn't a fan of. Like, everybody loves 4 and 7. I hated those games. I don't care. Fight me. I hated those games. But, obviously there's some Resident Evil games that I never got the chance to play, like Gaiden, Survivor. I didn't play those. As far as the main Resident Evil games go, like all the number ones, 3 is the only one that I've actually never played. When I was young, I would watch my stepdad play the original games. Eventually, I played the first one, played the second. 3 is the only one I never played, surprisingly. But if they remake 3, which obviously they're going to, it leaked, it's going to be awesome. But Resident Evil 2, that's what I'm talking about. The way they redid Claire and Leon's story was just so amazing. They really, they didn't 100% stick to the original, but obviously there's going to be changes. But just, the way that they did it close enough was just, it blew my mind with everything they did. And the way they changed Mr. X, the way that he is.
X gonna give it to you.
Oh, I can honestly say, and I'm not even embarrassed to admit this, I was this close from legit shitting my pants one night when I was playing the game.
Wow.
Nice.
Because
that's
I was doing...
that's deep.
I was doing one of... Because there's A and B scenarios you could do for both of them. I was doing Leon B, I think I was doing. And at one point, I'm in the police department, and you could hear Mr. X's footsteps, right, when he's close by. I'm like, all right, if I stand still, he's going to walk away. Okay, all right. Okay, footsteps are away. I'm running through, and I didn't know he can do this. But as I'm running through one hallway, he punches his way through a wall. I, jump up, and I guess because I clinched very tight, I stopped myself from shitting myself. But even still, if I would have been
Damn.
I just shit my pants. Okay. I just shit my pants, but that's pretty cool, I guess.
Like, if Capcom was able to make me shit
Man,
myself,
dude.
I would have been like, you know what? I'm not even mad.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But, and, like, one thing that people complain about the game is when you do the A and B scenarios, they don't exactly match up, but it's like, yeah, you know, that bugs me a little, but it's whatever. I love this game so much, and especially the way, like, they redo, like, characters and whatnot. Like, in the original Resident Evil 2, the one cop that you meet right in the start of the game, Marvin, he was basically, like, somewhat of a, like, throwaway character. Like, he appears for, like, one scene, and then that's it. He becomes a zombie later on when you see him again. But in Remake, even though he's still there for a short time, they give him a little more time, but they give him amazing character development. They make him feel important. So when, in the original, when you see him turn into a zombie, it's like, ah, damn, you kill him. But in this game, when he turns into a zombie, it's like, I'm sorry, Marvin. Like, I was even, like, holding back, like, I want to put him out of his misery, but I'm sorry, Marvin. And I just killed him, because, like, the way they change, like, whether it be character development, gameplay, and whatnot, and, like, the way they did this one, because when they remade the first game, they still had, like, the camera angles and whatnot, which are classic.
Tank control,
Tank
I think is what it's
controls.
called.
Like, that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
So
I
I
was just thinking
figured,
about that before.
okay, they're gonna do it for this game. No, they did it like over the shoulder and everything.
It was like a
The-
regular third-person action game.
Yes, and the way they did it, it was so perfect. And there were so many moments in the game, like, I'm sitting there and I could feel my heart racing because of how intense it was getting. Like,
Yeah.
like the Sherry scene when you do Claire's scenario, I'm sitting there like, oh my god, he's gonna get me, oh god.
It's gonna get.
But
I'm gonna shit my pants. It's gonna
but
happen.
even moments where, like, you know, the classic end of the original Resident Evil games where, like, you have that countdown to get out, you gotta beat the final boss. When I was doing both of them, like, oh my god, I'm gonna run out of time, oh god! Oh my god, but, like, and the fourth survivor. Oof. This, when it came to the fourth survivor, you had to be the best of the best. I never did the fourth survivor in the original game. I did this one. I studied, like, not really tutorials, but, like, guides of how to do it properly, proper ways to run and whatnot, what to use. First time, I got, like, maybe 80% of the way, and I died. Second, like, I was so mad, I'm like, you know what, I'll go back to it later, damn it. So, the second time I tried it was the day of WrestleMania this year, and I got like 90% there. I'm like, okay, I'm not close, I know what to do, I can do this. So I do it, I run through and whatnot, I'm doing better, and right near the end, and I guess I'm technically spoiling this for you because you're going to do the fourth survivor, right near the end, I can hear Mr. X's footsteps through, like, all the enemies. I'm like, I'm like panicking. As soon as I run down the one set of stairs and I'm running up, I realize, wait a minute, there's no other zombies past this point. Turn the corner, run through the gate, and the most beautiful platinum screenshot that anybody could have ever got. I'm like,
Yeah.
perfect. I could say that my all-time favorite game, I platinum it the day of, without a doubt, my all-time favorite WrestleMania, so that was even more perfect for me. And another thing that I loved about this game, I love what Capcom did. Obviously, there's some DLC you gotta pay for, but they did free DLC packs of what-if scenarios where you play as 3 different people.
That's still
and
badass.
and sure, they're short, you know, simple to the point, but even still, it's like, it's a what-if scenario, you know, going through all these obstacles. That's fun. They even took the actual 1998 models of Claire and Leon. I think it was just those two. I'm not sure if it also affected Ada and Sherry and their respective stories, but they took their old models and put it in for free. So even seeing that, it's like, what else can Capcom do for me to love them?
I'll tell you what they could do. They could have put the Resident Evil DualShockers remix soundtrack in the game, even though that was for Resident Evil 1.
So, when the original Resident Evil game, we're gonna play the song for you because I don't think you know what's going, but
I don't think I do at all.
you don't know what's going on. But we're gonna show you once we finish this because we can't play the music for copyright reasons.
As we chow down pizza, can't wait.
In the original Resident Evil game, there were 3 versions, I think, of the original Resident Evil game: the regular, the director's cut, and the director's cut DualShock version because they added the analog sticks. In the original, and I think the first director's cut, it had all the original music in it. When they redid the director's cut with the DualShock version, I guess for licensing issues, copyright reasons, they had to redo the music. They got this, I don't know if he was like German or whatever it was, because I was telling you about it. They got some artist that they claim was like the next Beethoven because he made music and he was going deaf or he was deaf. Years later, they find out it was just a publicity stunt. But he had a ghostwriter write all the music. Some music in the newer version was good, it was creepy, but there's a certain song, like background music in this game, you would just either do like the ultimate facepalm or you would just laugh your ass off, especially at the difference that the music was. It's like, it basically sounds like you're trying to play a trumpet out of your ass, put it that way.
Much.
But we're gonna play the music for you once we're done
Like
with
an
this.
orchestra of trumpets trying to be played out of someone's ass.
Sounds like South Park.
Pretty much. Yeah, the freaking brown noise or whatever it was that they were trying to do.
Yep, the brown note. The brown
But
noise.
but Resident Evil 2, like
The brown note.
like I can still go back and just play this game, and it's still as much fun as it was like the first day I played it earlier this year when it came out. Like I could not get enough of it, and with Sony leaking Resident Evil 3, like I am just
On the
beyond
store.
hyped right now.
Right on the store.
I'd be more hyped if it was R3 make. But you and I had a conversation about why they didn't do it, because the original Resident Evil remake was already RE in red and then make.
Yeah.
So R3 make would be confusing.
So
but still.
yeah.
R3 make. The red.
But so yeah, that is my number 1. I can never get enough of it. Next to the original, it's my all-time favorite game. My all-time Resident Evil game, all-time game in general.
Yeah, that's what's up.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a longer episode than we're used to of Pizza and Pixels, but I think if scheduling works out, this will probably be the last episode of the year, so it's a good way to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
I think our first episode back next year might be mine and JP's top 3 or 5 games of 2019. We'll see what happens. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Pizza and Pixels. Of course, that's a show where myself and JP, and sometimes a guest, talk about order pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up.
I'll appear here and there.
And you can get it every other Saturday on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom or on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, really any podcast service of your choosing. And that being said, guys, until next time, another one bites the crust.